range of preferences and likes were marked. I'm going to have to find it so you can look at the data, because what happened was the white liberals were the only group that hated their group. All the other groups, Black Americans judged Black Americans favorably, Asians judged Asians favorably, Hispanics judged Hispanics favorably. White liberals were the only ones with a negative group bias for white people. That's fascinating to me.
That's crazy.
And sad. And weird. Like, you don't love yourself?
No, I don't think that's necessarily indicative that you don't love yourself.
Negative group preferences, Lily.
I'm Nigerian. I recognize the woes, the cultural practices that I think are less than desirable or unsavory. Or I could identify that, hey, maybe like, and if I were able to identify, like, let's say 100 things or a bunch of things, I'd probably be like, hey, like, I love who I am, but I could recognize that my people are like the culture or community I belong to. They're involved.
Louis, you know what I think? Can I add this, Monica? You said negatively. It was the whites who viewed themselves negatively. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes, she's saying white.
I'm going to venture to say that that's white guilt. That's probably what that is.
And why? And do you think white people should be guilty, should feel guilt? And why?
There are things to be guilty of.
Because they're white, Louis? Do you not see how racist and terrible that is?
Because they live in a society to which, like, historically they benefited, and their ancestors and their parents and their grandparents have benefited from, like, the racial disparity in the country, right? And as a result of that disparity, sometimes some people have a leg up in society that others don't. Right, and so for someone, for a white person to understand that, acknowledge that, and maybe feel some guilt about that, I think it's perfectly human.
Right.
I do have a question. Do you guys feel that?
I think that's perfectly real quick. I think that's perfectly human, and I like to you know, point your finger or like cast, like how do I say this, like aspersions that they're like not race loyal or they're weak or they're fragile. I don't know. I think it's a bit of I don't know. It seems like you guys being hyperbolic. That like a few white people understanding the racial context of this country and maybe feeling bad about that and maybe wanting to rectify that in some way.
So do you feel guilty about the homicide rates of Black Americans?
What do you mean?
Well, no, hold on. If we're doing this consistently and logically, I know Ian wants to weigh in, but why aren't you guilty about Black people killing other Black people at enormous high rates?
I think it's a little different in that, like, Jim Crow, like the racist structure that America was built on.
Because you know the benefit.
It benefited white folks unevenly. That's like the crux of it. Like, I don't know what the analogy. Maybe you could try to tie the analogy with the crime thing. I don't know. Maybe there is one. I can't see it immediately.
Louis, or anyone in the room, do you guys think that it's beneficial for Black people when white people pander and have white guilt? Does it help you guys? Do you guys?
I think you can. Yes, I think you can.
Do you guys think you benefit from it? Or do you think that it keeps some people in a mental chokehold, thinking that they can't do anything in 2025 because of the white person?
I don't think the two are mutually exclusive.
I'm almost done. Just let me land my thought. That's why I speak out against it, because I feel that the white panders are so dangerous and awful, and I to Black people. It's a detriment to Black people. That's why I speak out against it, because them having white guilt is keeping some Black Americans in a mental chokehold, thinking that they can't do something because of a white person, and I don't fucking appreciate that. So I see people like fucking Victoria as the enemy.
That's a good name. That's a good representative.
there's a
Go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say
Go ahead.
no.
Butcher hasn't got to speak a lot.
Hey, go ahead. I've been talking.
I just want to ask, how would like what you're calling I would call it empathy on some degree. How would that equate to Black people not feeling like they can do things for themselves?
Well,
I'm not sure how that works. If we applied that universally, then there would be no abolitionists. There would be no civil rights. All of these things would have been white people pandering to Black people.
Well, I asked you, do Black Americans benefit from the white panders? And somebody on stage,
Yes.
it might have been Louis. Yes. Okay. So explain to me.
Wait, explain what? I'm sorry. I keep cutting out. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't Louis. No, it's the other speaker that was.
No, I just wanted to hear the question.
Butcher made the statement that Black Americans benefit from white Americans or society pandering to them.
And so then my question was...
Pandering is doing a lot of heavy lifting on your argument. Like, what do you say?
No, that's not my argument. That's Butch's argument.
Yeah,
Louis,
no, so
can you let...
No. I'm saying the fact that you consider it pandering.
No,
What is
I
pandering?
said it.
I'm
It's
just
me.
applying
I'm
that
the one that...
terminology to all these
I'm the
situations
one-
that would have also been considered pandering, like the civil rights movement, like abolitionists. We would have still been slaves if white people weren't quote unquote pandering.
Quote unquote, right? Yeah, exactly. But I wouldn't call it pandering.
What I'm saying is, well, when I asked the question, do Black Americans benefit from it? Louis, you came in and you wanted to know where we were at in the conversation. So then I asked, he said yes, and I said, tell me how they've benefited, and that's where we stopped. So go ahead. How have they benefited?
Well, he just told you. What?
Oh, I see. Okay, let me build a bridge. So Butch is using pandering as the civil rights movement, restoring justice after injustice happened with Jim Crow laws. He considers us that pandering instead of just justice.
And you consider the white folks who still recognize. Really quick, Aaron, please. That's okay. You see the white folks who still see injustices and point out injustices even today as panderers. So like what's the difference between those folks who might see like injustice there and like?
Can I respond on his behalf?
Jesus.
You want to speak for Butcher?
Go ahead, Mimi.
Yeah, like...
You want to speak for Butcher?
Let Mimi
Do you not
go.
know who Butcher
Let
is?
Mimi go.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I have my own stance on this whole topic, but in regards to him believing that, I guess, Black Americans unintentionally benefit from white Americans pandering. Okay, I guess the first point would be that like pandering itself can create performative allyship that benefits individuals and not communities. So I feel that many white Americans, especially in politics, media, or corporate spaces, pander by virtue signaling. So posting hashtags, making statements, or hiring a token blackface without addressing the root problems like economic inequality, policing, or education gaps. My second point would be like it creates a culture of fear, not honesty. And that's a big issue that I feel that I've seen myself as well. So pandering like often comes from fear. White people afraid to say the wrong things or be labeled as racist. This can create superficial relationships, fake activism, and a climate where people tiptoe instead of having real conversations. So in a space that like individuals benefit socially or financially by being the voice of a group, but it doesn't equal genuine respect or equality, which is what we should strive for as a community, regardless of your race or color. Number 3 would be it shifts power to individuals who might not represent everybody. So when white institutions pander, they often platform specific Black voices they feel comfortable with. This leads to gatekeeping, where a handful of activists, influencers, or figures benefit, like speaking gigs, brand deals, etc. extra social credit, while others are ignored, like important other Black figures. So true empowerment means lifting communities, not individuals who fit mainstream narrative. Everyone should be lifted up regardless of their race or color, and it should be a real conversation that we're having here. It's, you know what I mean? And pandering itself can block accountability, and that's what we need. Why guilt turns into pandering, letting institutions feel like they've done enough just by listening or spotlighting Black voice. So that slows down real performance because it replaces action with appearance. So that's a point. That's his point, I guess. But
We could agree that pandering is definitely like it's like with the bigotry of low expectations, like
Right.
white. It's like there's usually like hard racism from the right, and there's a soft kind of racism, like this kind of like oh, they're helpless and like they need a white person to kind of speak up. Like that is kind of disgusting, right? And I can acknowledge that pandering is an issue, but like I guess I just disagree that all white people who advocate or speak on behalf of Black issues are pandering. I think that's a word that you.
Not. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it's all. Definitely not. I've met white people who truly care about this cause, and it's amazing. But I do feel like there is that the other side where there are white people who just simply tiptoe around out of fear, and we don't want that. We want them to take true accountability. And I also believe something you said earlier about them feeling guilt. So I feel there's a difference between guilt versus accountability. Guilt is personal and accountability is structural. So just because someone is white, it doesn't mean they. Oh, you can't hear me?
I can hear her fine. Don't interrupt her.
You sound muffled up on mine.
No, she's great.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, that's his audio. We can hear you clearly.
We can hear you better now, but we could hear you before.
Yeah.
But it's better.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of walking around. Okay, so yeah, I was saying there's a difference between guilt versus accountability. So just because someone is white doesn't mean they individually committed harm or supported racism. So you can support justice and equality without carrying guilt for things you didn't do. And I understand ancestors, I understand the history. You know, I'm Middle Eastern myself. I'm part Palestinian, Lebanese, so I fully understand how it feels to be oppressed. But I don't expect every Jewish person that I meet to be guilty, because I've met a lot of great Jewish people who go against the ethnic cleansing or oppression. I just expect them to take accountability and for them to not advocate for any of these things to happen and truly feel it. I don't want it to be pandering, you know? I don't want them to be afraid or to tiptoe. I don't want anyone to feel that way. I want them to really feel it, to really understand. So I feel like we should focus on changing unfair systems, not shaming people who already support equality. And then I guess the second point would be like collective punishment doesn't equal justice. Blaming or guilt tripping all white people just for being white is counterproductive. It pushes away potential allies. So many white people today grow up in diverse communities, and I see that they love and protect Black people. And I know this is a thing in America. You know, in even poor communities where white and Black people grew up the exact same way, so they don't see the difference with color, although they might share that little bit of extra advantage because of their skin color. It doesn't mean that they don't go through things as well, like abuse and addiction and all these other things, you know. And then as I said, they also suffer themselves. So while whiteness doesn't come with privilege, while whiteness comes with privilege in some societies, it's not the only factor shaping someone's life. We have to look at class, gender, mental health, what the system is trying to push for. Are they trying to push for division between us because of our color? And that's something I will never fall for. No matter what, even as a Middle Eastern, I will never fall for division, even against a Jewish or a Black person or against a white person. I don't want to do that to
definition
anybody.
of
I'm
pandering?
gonna.
It just seems like you're
I
using
will.
this word some kind of swing term to. What is your definition of pandering? Because it seems like you're using this as a swing term to identify some type of white guilt that people are employing on other whites. So it wouldn't necessarily be white people hindering us with some type of guilt. It would be them hindering you guys with quote unquote white guilt. See, this is what I don't understand. What would be the difference between, or why would a white person pander towards black people, and why would black people pander toward white people? So one of them have an advantage toward them, and the other one just don't.
Well, why do you guys call fellow Black Americans this?
That's what I'm saying. It's a different.
Oh, I just got back in the room. I'm sorry.
One has a negative impact towards the race, another one doesn't.
So the reason why white people pretend that they're allies, and maybe, let me not be ungenerous, some of them act like allies and they really do care.
But that's the issue.
And then there's, Louis, you didn't even let me finish my thought, bro.
Yeah, you're right, but go ahead. Just the fact that you were so slow to say that, and like the trepidation in your voice, it was like, why is that so difficult to acknowledge that, hey, not all of these people are pandering? And like the fact that you conflate everyone who has this position, who's sympathetic to these,
Louis, you should let it finish, bro. You should.
Yeah, you're right. My apologies.
All right, Louis, I will let you rebuttal. I promise. You know I'm good for that. So white people have been told that they have this gift in their DNA that they don't can never get rid of, and they'll always have it no matter what they do. It's the stain of original sin, that they come from rotten, violent, evil DNA. So some of them believe that garbage. Some of them want to atone for it. So they'll go out of their way to lift up people they'll go out of their way to lift up people when injustice occurs, and when maybe injustice doesn't occur. And I have a great example in recent history of Jussie Smollett, who went outside for a Subway sandwich at 2 a.m. in Chicago's Arctic blasts and was confronted by two white men saying, that's that faggot from Empire. This is MAGA country, bitch. And poured bleach on him and put a noose around his neck. And all the people who were standing with him in solidarity about these evil white people who did this to him went on talk shows and said how embarrassed they were and how angry they were that this racism was prevalent in our society in the year that it happened, and how we all should take ownership of it. And then we find out that Jussie Smollett outsourced a job traditionally held by white men to two Nigerian bodyweight trainers, bodylifters and trainers. That the need for white supremacy exceeds the supply in our society. Those are the allies. Do you want those people on your side who have no ability to critically think and question out narratives that were hate crime hoaxes that cause people to hate people based on the color of their skin?
No,
it's terrible.
It's fucking retarded how you just try to angle a lie versus actual events where people are being discriminated or you know what I'm saying? It's just how you gotta swing it to make your point. It's just fucking pathetic.
Wait, but do you understand what she's trying to say, though? She's trying to say
I understood
it's not about not taking accountability.
That's why I responded the way I did, because I understood what she was saying.
Yeah, it's not about not taking accountability. It's absolutely something we should acknowledge, because that history did happen, and in all honesty, it still happens in some part of the world, and in the United States, even if it's considered a Western country now. But we don't want people to support us because they're pandering. We want them to support us because, as she said, they're capable of critically thinking on their own and making the right decisions with or without feeling pressure to.
Yeah, I think you're saying that now, but
Let me just say it really quick, and I won't even respond to this. But people being outraged about what they perceive to be an actual event versus a lie being told, and people still being outraged on that lie. That's not the same thing as somebody actually pandering. I don't even know if y'all using the word correctly. Y'all just using it to describe somebody who y'all don't like, who y'all feel is employing white guilt.
Yeah, that's I would say pandering. Also, it's an
isn't
outlier,
like white
right?
white
It's an
fragility,
outlier.
that all of that is like essentially the same thing. Pandering. It's all.
But the point is, it's an outlier what happened, and he got like it's
That's
not
what
like the
you
gay
think,
community
Alaska.
were like.
I've got a half a dozen stories, but no one's interested.
Okay, let me finish. Half a dozen versus the horrible hate crimes that happen every single day is still nothing. Statistically, when you consider gay people have always... Let me finish. Considering gay people have always existed, half a
We
dozen...
weren't talking about homosexuals. We were talking about racists.
Please stop being triggered, please.
No, it's just that now she's gonna trauma dump because she's a lesbian.
I'm not lesbian and I'm not going to try. Thank you. You weirdo. My point is that the statistics just aren't there. You're talking about the history, and the history isn't there. You're taking one outlier and painting everyone with it. Like, I don't know a single person of color who has gone through their life and not had to experience something. So, yeah.
Mimi, I see you
I think
recognize.
that was disrespectful. Wait a minute. I want to acknowledge that was very disrespectful, that name calling. I just want that to be known.
What? You're silly.
Yeah, it's very silly.
Oh, I'm
Really quickly.
I'm really sorry, and I didn't mean that. Like, if that offended you, like.
Really quickly, I just would like to address what
It's
Mimi
just
said,
because I'm
and come on, guys, come on, please. I don't want to fight with anyone, but Mimi,
I just feel like that.
Are you saying that my tears are
real?
real?
Mimi, you said something
like
you said something to the effect that white folks should take responsibility, right? And it's not to pander, but they should like be accountable. I think was the word you used, right? That's kind of like our issue is like.
Accountable.
Right. Even when you have white folks who are, like you say, just being accountable, not necessarily pandering, like they get lumped in with panderers. Like we get people saying, oh, like they're like, they're like, acquiescing to minority opinions or whatever the fuck. Like it doesn't. That's what I'm saying, and that's why when I say I don't think it's really.
Yeah.
Like they keep citing these like fringe circumstances to where like a lie is being made and people run with that, or like someone's like actually pandering and they're just doing it for like the virtue of it, and they're actually condescending and they actually think little of black people. Like these things exist. I'm not saying they don't exist, but why is that always being? Why do in the eyes of folks like for Monica and Ann and MGK, why is it that in their eyes, a person who actually has real convictions about like their positions actually stands on what they are saying about like the black community? They actually feel they actually are taking accountability, right? Those people are pointed and labeled as panderers. So how can a white person actually take accountability without fielding like the accusations from their own community of being panderers?
What was that?
That's a really good
Sorry.
question. And sometimes.
Well, who are you asking, Lily?
I'm asking Mimi.
Okay.
Or I mean, the question's open, but I was speaking to Mimi because I was coming off of something.
I'll comment after Mimi. Sorry, Mimi.
Yeah. So I do have a response for that, but I'm so sorry. I just feel like I felt a bit bothered by a comment that was made to Alaska about her being a lesbian and just like completely negating anything she would have said.
Louis said he wanted to move on from that.
No, I absolutely want to respond to that, but I feel
The
like
moderator said to move
how
on.
can we come
Stop
together?
talking over people.
How can we come together as people, if we're going to sit here and insult and say like horrible things like that, who cares about someone's label? That like offended me, you know. I just feel like an apology should be made, and we shouldn't.
Too, Mimi.
Like I feel like I'm mature enough to have disagreements without insulting someone. That's not cool.
Okay, Mimi, if she says no, let's move on.
Yeah, let me respond. So I guess like to start with like listening and not talking. So I guess pandering, jumping in with like public statements to look good, and then there's accountability, which is private listening, reading, learning from Black voices and experiences, and that there are ways for them to acknowledge it without pandering. So acknowledging without censoring. So pandering, I guess, can sound like, oh, I feel so guilty. I just cannot believe I'm white, making them feel bad versus accountability that I see how I benefited from a system, even unknowingly. I'm committed to unlearning and doing better and promoting that. So you can sort of tell by the way someone carries themselves, the way they respond to these issues, whether they're just simply trying to dismiss it and shut you off, or because they truly care about the cause. And you also just want to have that talk with them and let them know, like, I don't want you to feel like you have to I guess feel this way. I want you to feel like it's something that's just important for all of us, because you never know, white people might one day go through it, or this community or this race. It's just about creating diversity and real love in general. And I have like had that experience myself, speaking to Black Americans. I'm not from the United States, but I live in a Western country where there are Black people, and I do see racism, and there's Indigenous people, and I'm also Middle Eastern, so I see different types of racism. But I understand, I guess, what's happening in the United States. So I have spoken to African Americans, and when I have spoken about this topic, like, I've had some really respectful conversations. But I've also had many who just yell and say there's no such thing as racism towards white people, even if they're poor, even if they've been abused. None of that matters. Who cares? We went through history. We this, we that. And then I felt like that just silenced me in many, many, many different discussions. In many discussions with African Americans, and that bothered me, because when I tried to speak to people about what's going on in my country, no, it's not about trauma dumping.
You're centering yourself.
Does experience not matter as well? Like, I understand that can be dismissed, but I'm saying this because I'm not American, and I'm going based off my experiences, where I'm acknowledging both sides. I feel that like it's me explaining how, from my experience as well, I've seen pandering happen because of the way African Americans might go about it in a forceful way. You know, there's ways to go about it by explaining the history, by talking to them.
Yeah, but I feel like you're trying to force it into that corner. We're not necessarily talking about this. So let's say, for instance, like there's a white person with like a pro-Black kind of disposition, right? I feel like if Ann, Monica, MG Curry would have asked that person why he holds the position he holds, and he gave like a well thought out like response, talked about like the racial history of this country, and like as a result we have some communities who were held back, and because of that, like, I think it's my duty to like speak out on that. And if it were my people in that situation and the roles were reversed, I would want them to speak for me, and like he had this whole like ironclad justification rationale behind it. I feel like they would still say he's a white panderer, and I think that's an issue, and that's the issue that I'm trying to address. At what point are you just a white panderer, or what point are your grievances and your beliefs and principles legitimate in the eyes of these people? Because I like, what's the thing? I guess let me ask you that to Ann and Monica. Right. Like, what's the thing that differentiates a panderer to someone who honestly holds that position in your eyes?
Ann, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll be quick. So to me, there in 2025, there is nothing that everyone considers to be a white person can do that a Black person can't. And so we can I will always acknowledge the history of what had happened, and that's how we got to where we're at. And thank God for the civil rights movement. And I mean, obviously, that is where racism ended. Yes, we did have when black people were trying to purchase houses and things like that in the 1970s, and there was redlining. And then there was also a law that was passed in 1978 that like squashed that. So we have moved it. We are now past that. We are in 2025, and there's nothing a white person can do that a black person cannot. In the rhetoric of anyone, even if they genuinely feel that they've done something and that I don't know, someone said that they need to have some accountability and acknowledge that. What do they need to be accountable for when they personally have never done anything to put a black person down? What their ancestors did is not what's going on today, and they don't need to be accountable for anything like that. And that's it. So they make.
Can you tell us what their ancestors did? I'm not informed. What did their ancestors?
Wait, so majority of the people, like, depending on where your family came from, I mean, Ancestry.com, people do that. I mean, half of these people are, like, feeling a certain way because of their skin color when they're not even from the Caucasus Mountains.
I asked, what did their ancestry do?
Well, it depends on who you're referring to. Like, my ancestors.
You made the statement that they upset about what their ancestors did. I'm asking you.
Slavery. Slavery. In general, as a whole, what was done to black Americans in our history, it was absolutely awful. It was a different time then, that something that none of us have like lived, you couldn't even possibly fathom or understand. And the fact that like a white person that has never lived in that time and knowing how far we've come as a country, like is going to pander, to me is a dangerous ideology because there are still like
racial. Okay, what about segregation? What about after slavery?
Wait, what?
It didn't split
the
oppression didn't stop at slavery.
One second.
What about lynching?
I don't think you know the black people's history, like the black Americans' history. They were informed by the same white people as well, too. 1 second. Black Americans didn't suffer being slaves. They suffered after slavery.
Wait, I'm sorry, the last part, it was a little muffled. You said black
Americans didn't suffer during slavery. They suffered after slavery was abolished.
Okay, then that's even a better point because I wasn't living during that time. Okay, so my history of things is going to look different. None of us have the same history ideology as anybody else on the stage.
And do you know that there are people who are alive who've lived through Jim Crow?
Wait, can I ask
That's
you
what I'm saying. It was after slavery that they suffered. So the point is this: that the narrative what you're speaking right now, it's a narrative because that's not what Black Americans talking about.
Okay, but no, my grander point is
they're talking about after slavery, all the promises that were supposed to happen. The 40 acres and a mule, all that dumb shit that they promised them, that's what they're talking about. So stop talking about black issues like you know, man. You don't know. You don't know. No, it's right. You know what you need to do? Stretch your damn thin ass lips up and listen to people.
No, the reason why we've been talking about this for like an hour and a half, and Louis had asked a question you wanted me.
No, you want to sit here and troll. You want to act like you know, and you have all the answers because you listen to some fucking coons, and you don't want to troll.
No, I'm not trolling. Louis asked me specifically, me and Monica. He said this question is for Ann and Monica. So that's why I'm responding and inserting my opinion. So I'm sorry that you missed that part. So 2025 is my grander point. 2025, there's nothing that white people can do that black people can't. And when there are white people that want to feel guilty and pander and cry and say, I know that what happened to you was so awful. To me, it's a detriment to success and excelling because there's people that mentally in their mind think that they can't do those things because of a white person. And to me, that's dangerous and awful. So that's why I speak out against it.
Did I get my turn yet?
It's dangerous because it's a narrative that you constructed in your head based on some type of white ideology.
All right, I didn't get my turn yet.
Yeah, come on and click on it so I can go.
Essentially, I didn't know how it was helpful. Like, I don't know how it's helpful.
It's not helpful because it doesn't exist.
What doesn't?
There's some shit you constructed in your head. When you're talking about white people pandering, what you're talking about is them using the social stratification and the advantage of someone else that isn't white.
Okay, you all got it. You all got it. Nope, you got me. Oh, you got me. You win. I don't know.
Butcher, are you trying to pander to blacks?
So Louis had a question for Ann and I. Louis, can you restate it?
Do you know that there are people right now that, let's say, like, if I were,
There's
black families right now, homeowners, that if they want to get their home appraised, they would get like a mock white family so it could actually be appraised correctly. These are things that happen now.
No, they don't. And
So
I
to
know
say,
that
like,
for a fact.
like on paper, the systemic disadvantages might not be there. We can make the argument that there's like plausible deniability that says, hey, there's nothing in the law that says this is allowed, right? But in practice, like a lot of these like skewed and uneven like policies are still enacted, right? It's in our lending practices, right? In our, like I said, appraisal practices, right? Like I don't know.
Well, an appraisal. So that's actually
we could pretend and close our eyes real tight and cover our ears and act like it's all gone and like it's like such a thing of the past that like why are we even thinking about it? Yeah. No, the vestiges of slavery and post Jim Crow are still very much alive and very much active. We could say it's diminished, right? And that's the point that you guys like to argue, like, oh, it's not slavery, right?
Louis, did you want me to answer your question?
I'm sorry.
Did you want me to answer your question?
Yeah. If you
as well. Can you restate it?
Right. So it seems like all white people who take the position of like the sympathetic position or empathetic position to black plight, black issues, are met by other white people with like animosity, or they're saying, well, like they're pandering. So my question is, how do you differentiate a white person who genuinely has come to their conclusions, like reasonably, right? They're reading, whether it's reading history, and they've come to the conclusions like this is why I have my stance concerning black issues. How do you differentiate whether they've come about that position legitimately or if they're just pandering and this is like a virtue signal, like for the look sort of thing? Like how do you, because it seems like no matter what, someone could have a really good explanation to how they have arrived at their position, but like to folks like you, like Ann, MGK, like all those white folks will ever be as panders. It doesn't matter how justified or well put together their rationale behind their thought processes are. They're panderers because they're white and they're sympathizing with the black plight and they're acknowledging white supremacy and all, like, and these are things that white people should never do. That's what it seems like. And so I'm saying, what is the differentiator?
Okay, what I hear is that you're concerned that if you brought an injustice to me because of who you think I am, I wouldn't care that an injustice was done. So what I do is I actively listen to people and what they say. And if they're blaming a group of people for the harm and struggles of the world, I'm going to look at them and I'm going to wonder, where is that going to lead us in the future? What are their goals? Because some people hear whiteness as white people. And then there are people who say abolish whiteness and people saying, wait, abolish white people? So if they're blaming people in the present for sins in the past, there's nothing I can do. I don't have a time machine. I can't go back and erase history. But I can start now and say, hey, can we have an honest discussion about their literacy scores of fifth graders in low-income areas?
Yeah,
and those fifth graders
if we have an honest conversation, we'll see that those communities are underfunded, and that contributes.
Except the research that Roland did is that it's more culture than race.
So black
and it's
people
more
are
class
averse to education
than race. In poverty class, I'm not talking about black people, please.
But that's what we're talking about.
But Louis, what I'm telling you is, if you're going to tell me you have this amazing program that will improve the literacy scores of only Black boys, I'm going to look at you and say, will literacy program help all our children, and can we apply it to all the kids and Black boys? Does it have to be exclusionary? Can we lift up everybody while we lift up some people?
Wait, can I respond? I think sometimes certain things have to be exclusionary, especially when we're dealing with people who've been held back. What?
Yeah, Divine.
Yes or no? Yes or no? I do like yes, equality. And
you support segregation.
If we're dealing with, you know, rectifying the wrongs done to a community that has been like stifled, like intentionally held back, right? Sometimes to rectify that, you need unequal like methods, right? There was uneven methods that got the community in the way it is, and it's maybe some uneven methods need to be employed to rectify that wrong. I don't see what's wrong with that. Tell me where the flaw of my logic is.
Can I respond just to explain? So that's the difference between equality and equity, right? If I have 3 people and one of them is in a coma, and we have the cure for their illness and to wake them out of the coma, and I'm like, hey, I just discovered this new thing. It's great. It's going to save this one guy. You're not going to be like, oh, but the other 2 are still coughing. So bring it back when it can help everyone, you idiot. You know, like that doesn't make sense. If people have different needs because of, especially in the Western world, those needs have been changed specifically because of race and the history of how that has, you know, gone. And so people need different things. Different programs need to be in place. Different, you know, like that's why we do all the kind of data gathering in the first place. I'm happy to talk on as well the original issue if needed, as someone who obviously grew up being misracialized constantly. I've had to come up and kind of work out what whiteness is and do all of this stuff by myself. And my big thing as well is that pandering or not, like, why do you... I'm literally finishing my thing. Never say anything when the guys talk for a long time, but whatever. If you genuinely care about Black issues and historical rights and equality and all that stuff, then you should maybe care a bit less about what other people are doing in terms of whether they're pandering or whether there's guilt or whatever. Like, that's on you. Like, that's your inherent privilege, the fact that you don't have to think about this stuff all the time, that it doesn't affect your life constantly. Like, that's privilege in itself. Anyway, I'll land there for now. But
did you direct that to someone specifically?
I guess you and
okay, I have a reply.
So to clarify, so me and Monica, and I'll let Monica go. What race do you identify as, Alaska? It must have.
As the race I am, which is Black Jamaican and white British.
Okay, now if everyone just looks at her profile, would you think that she's Black Jamaican? Okay, so like.
But she said she's both, right? She said Black and white.
With anything.
Well then.
Also, I'm ready to
both,
start
you
into my
excluded
picture.
one?
So, essentially, like, looks can be deceiving. So me, I have what it looks to be white skin, but my family's from the Middle East. I'm Arab.
Okay.
So, like, it's a social construct. This white. How many people check underneath the white box? All whites, or people from the Middle East, Arabs, Chinese people, people from Mexico. All these people have always.
Yes, a social construct that's been ever expanding. Yeah.
Yes, and now I see in Alaska, me and you can maybe agree. Like, now when you go to fill out a job application, it's definitely like hits like all of them, right? All of the ethnicities essentially.
Okay. Land the plane there. We got it.
I didn't hear what she just said. She responded, but you talked about Alaska.
Do I get a reply too?
Of course,
I didn't hear what you said, Alaska.
No, I just said that whenever I've done it, it's always been mixed white, Black, Caribbean, and there's specific ones for everyone. I don't really get the point.
Oh, so then that just must be the difference between the United States and
Okay, and make your point. We understand it's a social construct. Okay,
No.
go on.
Why are you trying to like that? Like we're finding like when people are trying to find common ground here, you want to like.
No, I feel like you're trying to educate us. You're trying to inform us on something we all know. Address a point, though.
No, that's good. You just want conflict. Go ahead.
So you didn't address the point. You just wanted to explain
No,
something.
I was trying to have.
She
there's
didn't
a-
really get to respond because you just interrupted her.
No, Mimi. You new here? You don't know Ann?
Oh.
I'm
It
putting her on
doesn't matter.
track.
She was still talking. Like, you don't interrupt her regardless if she has an opposing view. That's.
I wasn't interrupting her. I was allowing her to continue on to
But
the
allow
point
her
she was
to finish
making by
without
addressing her
interrupting.
point.
Ask the question.
Mimi, I don't want to argue with you. I'm telling you what I was doing. You see the green bean, yes? That's what the green bean.
So I was understanding where the disconnect and miscommunication is because when people live somewhere else, things are different. And so we need to get on the same page. And when we use words like Butch has said, like we need to define what pandering is. And I said, yes, we need to define what racism is. We need to start there before having the conversation because once we're on the same page, then the conversation and exchanging ideas actually happens. So knowing that Alaska is not from the United States, yes, when she fills out a job application, she has different options. So we're talking past each other and I was trying to find common ground. Sorry.
Okay, so,
When I
Alaska
do jobs
said,
in America, it's not that kind of work that you would put you. I don't understand the point relating to mine.
her original point was that, hey, you're not going to be worried about black people or people of this color and all the stuff that they have to go through. It's a privilege in itself. I thought that you were going to address it. That's why I kept on saying, can you reply to the whole point what she was trying to say? That's why I felt like you were informing us instead of engaging with Alaska. But go ahead, Monica.
I don't even know what that word sounds.
So the point that Alaska made was I don't have to worry about racial oppression or discrimination,
In the same way, yeah.
right, because of my race. And my argument is if I want all our fifth graders in America to have a reading level and comprehension level of fifth grade or higher, I'm smart enough to know that like I want them all to learn how to read. And I think our education system is failing us. And the reason why I want them all to learn how to read and be successful Americans is because soon I'll be 90 years old, hopefully, God willing. And those kids in fifth grade now will be the adults in charge of my health, safety, and future in the future. So the assumption made that conservatives are callous and uncaring is not true. It's just that we have different priorities. And I don't think we subjugate or discriminate now people who are needing to learn how to read, white boys in fifth grade, white girls in fifth grade, whatever. Because in the past, fifth grade boys who were black and girls who were black did not have the same educational opportunities. I actually find that to be a racist policy. But then I'm Monica, and I have Monica privilege.
I don't understand how that links. Like, basically,
You said that I have the privilege of not worrying about things because of my race.
on a daily basis. Yeah.
Do you understand how racist that is?
No, because I don't think you understand.
You don't. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because you haven't actually.
I think rather there are things that you don't have to worry about that maybe that you're ignorant to that other folks have to. Maybe that's
Except Alaska, I'm pro-life. And I don't like kids in cages, and I don't like kids in coffins. And I look at urban city violence, and I'm like, you're killing babies. Like, why? What can we do to stop that?
That's not doing so well at one thing. Why shouldn't we address that one group?
Because I'm told it's racist when I focus on facts and data.
You're kind of going all over the place.
Am I telling you that the scope and breadth of the problem has really nothing to do with my fucking privilege? Am I doing that maybe instead?
No.
You're not. right, my bad.
Like, because it's like the cognitive dissonance of the pain that you feel, because I know you do care about, like, there are issues you do care about, and truly I don't think you're someone who's like gonna go out and be like, oh, I hate black people, you know. It's just that pain and that dissonance of like cutting off where your responsibility lies and where your guilt is, you know. And it's like even Anne saying, oh, well, you look white, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't change the fact that I'm also black.
Well, that's Anne's argument, not Monica's argument. So if you can stay focused on when you and I are having a conversation and what my argument is, I think that's fair.
I'm using that as an example, yeah.
But it's not fair because it's not my argument.
No, okay, you're not letting me finish. I just want to finish this one point. So yes, I might look white to certain people, right? But because I'm not white, governmental laws and new, policies that come in affect me as if, I wasn't white at all, which is why my father was deported, whereas my white friends' fathers, who may have gone through similar issues, get to stay in the country, right? That's the kind of thing that you don't have to worry about. Like, it's insidious and it's personal and it's constant and it's every fucking day, and it's not just because you believe in X, Y, because no one can see your beliefs. No one's going to question your beliefs when you're just walking down the road because they don't know them. It's different.
If the justice system in the UK sent your non-citizen father away from the country after he committed a crime,
Didn't say he wasn't a citizen.
Was he a UK citizen?
Yeah.
And they revoked his citizenship.
Well, he was also what's the word? Oh no, I don't think he was a legal citizen, but he lived there since he was 11. His mum is here, his son is here, his sisters are here, his brothers are here.
Wait, did you say that he was deported due to a crime, or is that an assumption?
It was an assumption. I didn't actually say that.
Yeah,
I can make an assumption.
Was it a visit?
No, it's very expensive. And even going to visit him in prison, very nasty.
Wait, he's in prison in the UK or in prison in Jamaica?
He's not in prison anymore, no. That's where he got sent back, so he's free.
Well, if he's a good dad to you, Alaska, I do hope you have.
Oh yeah, no, we'll be fine eventually. But the point is that was part of the hostile environment policies, which were put in place in our country specifically to target people of color, and essentially under the guise of helping out with helping immigration. It's horrible, and that's why I'm so scared about what's happening now in America, because I'm telling you, they won't stop at just, the people they're aiming for now.
Well, they're actually working on making their people they're targeting now more specific. I think Trump is easing up on his policies for some undocumented workers who are doing work. We'll see.
Yeah.
So anyway, my privilege, there's a comedian in Benjamin, and he had a comedy skit, and he had a black friend, and his friend said, he had a friend who was black, and his friend who was black said, you don't know what it's like to be a black man in America. And Owen, being a white man, not knowing what it's like being a black man in America. I kind of thought that was funny.
All right.
Was it Butcha?
That was great.
Or is it Louie? Who gets credit for the laugh? It was good.
I didn't laugh, but
Nathan, that bird in your picture, it's a common grackle, right? Well, it looks like it from the picture, so I don't know if you,
It's a crow? Or
No, it's not a crow,
what?
it's a common grackle. It's not a crow, it's a common grackle.
Tell me about it, Chaos.
It's basically a common bird. It looks like a crow, but it's not. It's smaller. It's very small. It's more towards a little bigger than a European starling.
Wait,
no, not starling.
Wait, where is this? Your PTR? I can't see it.
No, Nathan's PTR.
It's a little black bird.
Oh, that covine bird.
I think his eyes are too big to be a crow, huh? They're too bright. Usually crows' eyes are dark.
He looks part of the covine family.
yeah, those birds are weird. Their pupils like dilate super big and shit.
Because Nathan flashed it, bro. That's why.
Listen, I'm just saying that bird would
Talking
stress
about
me out.
photography flash, not like actual flashing. Like the photography flash is like right.
Looks like a
Just imagine looking at that bird, like when you're walking outside and just being like, "Hey, bird, listen, you look kind of crazy." Well, that bird's giving me magpie vibes right now.
Or it found a cocaine bag in Florida. That's where Miami is the cocaine capital, right?
All right, so sorry, say our chaos. Intelligible is a troll, Alaska. Everything he says, you need to discount.
He just said this. Put it in the chat.
Yeah, but you didn't vocalize it, and she might not be reading the chat.
I feel like she's actively replying, so she's probably reading the chat.
I just got it. Why would you say something like that?
Because that's intelligible. He trolls.
Yeah, no, he does that kind of stuff all the time. I mean, one of his favorite things that makes me laugh is whenever he asks if my yoga pants are fermented for my kimchi. It's funny. It's just those little things. Like, once you understand the comedy, it's very amusing.
I'm so genuine. I was like, oh no, I hope she's okay.
Monica,
Yes, sir.
Monica, I still felt like you dodged Alexa's point about that being privilege.
Yeah, but you and I disagree. You think white people have you think white people have privilege and I don't. It's a huge problem for
That
us.
was not a privilege then.
It could be majority privilege, but I still don't think it's accurate. I still think that white people care too much about what minorities think.
That's not the point what I was saying though. Not that you care. We're talking about being ignorant. Like you're allowed to be ignorant.
Oh, for sure. White people are way ignorant. We're very stupid and gullible too. It's a problem, but I'm working on it.
What's going on, little baby Nathan?
Speaking of which, who's signing up for Trump Mobile? Yeah.
What are you doing, Louie? What's Trump Mobile?
What the fuck is that? What's Trump Mobile?
What's the cheaper than Verizon?
So I guess in retaliation to Apple not bringing specific factories to America because they can't because they go fucking bankrupt. I guess Trump is like now launching the Trump Mobile, which is like what is it, $600 yearly service?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Where do I sign up? $600 a year?
$600 a year?
No,
Save me
Like
so much money. I can pay $400 a month.
Huh, Ashley?
$600 for the
I
phone.
pay $400 a month.
That's crazy.
Just for the phone, I think.
$600 a year?
You only pay
That's $50 a month.
You pay too much mobile. I pay $200 a year for one line.
No, it's not a year. I think it's just for the handset.
That's what I'm saying. I pay like $300 to $400 for my unlimited data plan a year. What are we doing, guys?
Anyways, what do you guys think about Trump starting like a fucking phone service?
Can I just say? Can I say one thing? If I went on a date, if I went on a date and the guy sitting opposite,
Next question.
like having fun, I'm going in. I just.
Yeah, what's up?
I want you to answer that question, Martha. Don't talk about it.
I was just saying, if I went on a date and the guy pulled out a Trump phone, that would be it. That's literally all I wanted to say.
I'll get next question.
Can I say something?
I hear you.
So this is one way where we can get Trump supporters to get universal health care. It's like say Trump health insurance, and they'll get it. And
they'll be all over you.
But then they run it like they run the DMV.
Vaccines, chaos.
They already did that with the COVID pandemic. You had from free diagnosis, free PPE. You had everything basically handed to you through the medical system up to death or to recovery. And even some of the long-term COVID stuff, the continuation, the Democrats under Biden kind of short-lived that under their second wave of that information. But some of those were allowed to continue treatment even for past ailments that occurred with it. You had, like Trump is literally the only president in U.S. history to really come the closest to universal health care. Obama was second-ish, and then prior to that, I would say, during the polio vaccine. But you do have like certain points in history, but he's the closest that really ever came to it.
all I'm saying
Because
is
the insurance markets,
I'll take it.
you look at it, the insurance markets, the first year, they made record profits because they didn't have to pay a fucking claim. Like, it's literally fact. Like, if you didn't invest at that time frame in the, like, the BUCAs, you lost money because they just got to hold on the reserves and their stocks went through the roof because they were flushed with cash while getting government subsidies while sitting on their asses not having to pay a claim because nobody went to the hospital.
If Elon made a phone in the U.S. and it was all American made and it was actually decent, I would go up to $2,000. I'd pay $2,000 for a USA made phone.
Oh, you wouldn't. Why are we lying like this?
I paid $1,500 for my Samsung.
Louis, the new iPhones are $2,000 right now.
You have to use Amazon. You have to be honest.
iPhones are $2,000 now. What are you talking about? Wait, so like all the cell phones are roughly around 2,000. If you want anything with quality or data storage or any of the features that everybody.
Nah.
Dude, my iPhone right now is $2,000.
Yeah, that's because you got a
S24 for my S24 Ultra was $1,500. That's only $500 more than what I paid.
You guys have fallen into the Apple trap of having to renew your phone every year. Like, don't do that. I have iPhone 12. Look, my iPhone 12 works just as good as your 16. I promise you, those. I can do just about everything you do.
Yeah, but it does sound like you're breaking up, Louis. It sounds like your connection.
How's your battery life? How long until you have to charge it? That's the thing. How long until you have to charge it?
Don't do that to me. Don't do that. That's
Every 30 minutes?
Because I'll really go
30 minutes?
big mic on y'all niggas, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, stop doing that to me.
Louis, I'm about to big my just because I was gonna say, listen, not the new thing, but listen, man, like I'm gonna be honest, I be dropping my phone a lot for a Syrian, so if I gotta go drop $2,000 on a new phone, that's just what it is.
Puerto Rican, these phones are adorable, bro. I could swipe my iPhone at this wall right here, and I'm confident that it'll be like, it won't shatter, bro. I dropped this on concrete.
Okay,
Bro,
so
these phones
what
are
happened with my last phone? So this is what
Phones are not mother-proof yet, bro. Mothers treat their phone the worst.
Hey,
We do.
listen.
Call it out like that, Mike.
Let me try this again.
You're right.
Let me try this again.
It's kind of funny.
My last phone was dropped on my ceramic tile. Cracked the whole back, and I was like, well, at this point, the battery's exposed. I literally have to go get a new one. They're durable as shit, but let me tell you something, man. This is why I got vinyl flooring this time. It ain't happening again.
So, like, I never put cases on my phone. That's absolutely all. I think it's ridiculous that you guys go out and spend like $400 fucking dollars on fucking cases and accessories and bedazzling.
A little plastic case that
hold
costs
on.
$16.
So I don't put anything on there. I do have the insurance, but I have never broken a phone. It came out. I mean, I'm talking flip phone to today. Never fucking happened. I don't know what you guys
Pretty
do.
cush life.
And
But yeah,
I
it's
go
that.
find
I have yet to break. Why I'm search and rescue, nothing. You guys are breaking your own fucking house. How? Please explain.
Because we got that's why. We got tiny pockets and it goes up a pocket.
What do you want for that? Like, you want a cookie?
That's a conversation to be
I'm
had.
ready about that life now. If I ain't bring no phone,
Shit's a
just
goddamn
because
lie.
you rolled and it fell down, or you had some pants on and you didn't lift your foot up and the screen cracked. Come on, bro, you ain't about that life.
Listen, I'm just
You
saying
probably
that
have a nice, neat protector, styrofoam, stimulated trails that you go through.
You sure about that?
Or maybe it's all maybe you're like a tour guide, you know?
Disney fucking world. Yeah, all right.
Bubbles? You know, like the bubble boys?
Yeah. I would love, as much as I would love to, I can't. My family would find a way to break that shit.
I'm fucking dying. The big deal.
In like a treehouse
They
floor.
break this. I'm getting a little bit better, but
Oh, you're in the Matrix. No.
it's not easy, I'll tell you. Late Texas got some like parasite that went to her brain. So it's like, fuck, I wonder if that's in the pool or in that, you know, I don't know, man.
What? That's usually just swimming in places where you probably shouldn't be. Why were you drinking? Now, hold on a damn minute. I'm about to judge every single one of you. So Mike, let me get this straight. All right, guys, I'm gonna judge all of you. If I find out any of you drink fucking tap water, I'm calling you barbarian.
You don't think that that's regional and state specific, sorta? You don't think that some states have water that's just fine?
Yeah, so they have most of the fucking tap water. Most of the bottled water I heard sold in America is from tap water.
Alright.
There's not a single state that has clean tap water. You'd be actually shocked. It's the allowance of what's allowed to go into
the city of Memphis does.
Yeah, whatever. You'd be surprised. There's tolerances. So, like, if there's like 2% fecal matter allowed in your tap water per your city or code, you're going to get 2% fecal matter in your water. You're going to have certain amounts of chemicals that are allowed in there that get filtered through. So, no place is there. Puerto Rican, I'll drink it out of a mud puddle if I have to. I'll filter it and go. I drank it out of the hose while I'm down here. I've drank it out of.
No one cares who we drink it out of, Brad.
So,
who is not drinking water from a hose? Has everybody here drinking
Hot day when you're not allowed inside.
As my really as adult self, I $1,000 on top of the shit in my house that's being built for that shit. Okay?
That's your preference.
I have a Brita.
That's your choice.
Because I'll be damned if I get a weird brain-eating amoeba or some crazy shit.
How likely is that to happen?
I'll be damned.
Well, you won't be
Michigan,
damned.
Monica, do you remember the Flint, Michigan shit? And y'all still
I don't live in Flint, Michigan.
I don't care. It can happen anywhere.
Why are you yelling?
What are we talking about? I mean,
why are you yelling?
Because so I tried to speak multiple times with y'all loud asses, with your loud ass mics. Would not get my point. Let me get my point across.
You're the only one talking now.
I'm sorry. So let me get this straight, Monica. Are you trying to say that I'm too loud? Are you trying to tell me please right now? Because when you were being loud earlier, I'll let you be loud. I'll let you do that. Okay, I'll let you do that.
You don't like to fight for the mic.
Just buy my new AirPods. No, I'm fighting for it right now with you.
No, you're not. I'm letting you speak.
You're exercising.
First off, you should just shut up, Monica. She was talking. Let her fucking talk.
God is a pagan man.
You know what? Let's just let Monica exercise her privileges. Just have the mic, Monica. You got it. Drink it.
Morning, Coco. You're in the Matrix, sir.
So really quick, like I said, it's
Try again, Coco. You were in the Matrix.
yeah, okay, there we go. So I'm going to post a link in the chat that literally says that some of the highest quality drinking water in the United States of America is because we have a natural, like, underground, whatever. work right now, so can you put the light off? Can you wait while I'm done talking, please? I'm not trying to raise my voice right now because I'm at work.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pops. Thank you so much. Say well. Say that I'm wrong after. Say that I'm wrong. Say that I'm wrong after I close my mic. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. So in this thing,
Come on, Pop, stop it.
So and thank you.
He's doing the same. Shut up and say you're wrong.
Like shut up. So 98% it says that I'm just gonna put the link in the chat. It says Memphis has the best drinking water among American cities. Now it does not say that Memphis is the only city with the best drinking water, because apparently Pop seems to believe that I'm saying that Memphis is the only city that has the best drinking water in America, and I'm not. But I'm just gonna post a link in the chat. Thank you so much.
All right, I believe you. I'm not saying. Now you spoke prior. You corrected yourself. You said number one. And I'm not denying what you're saying. There's several cities, and I'm not here to argue with y'all this morning or whatever. But New York is verified. It's a fact that like New York City, just based on the population, like because we have so many people, has the cleanest drinking water. And New York's like number one. That's what I heard. But maybe I misheard. I don't know. Replays or whatever. But cool. I want to visit.
Pops, I'm just going to tell you this, that Hawaii actually is probably one of the cleanest ones. The last I checked, you'd have to go back and look, but because of the volcanic structure of the island in itself, the way it filters, the way it breaks through, the amount of carbon that the water actually goes, it has to go through the aquifer for, it actually kind of ranks their state in the Union of the U.S., and it's chemically better. But you know, again, you have to look at what's allowed in your drinking water. So a lot of people say, "Oh, New York is safer. Massachusetts is this." You have to look at what they're considering, and you have to look at what their allowances are as far as pollutants and toxins are in the water. You'd actually be surprised. It's not a joke. It's really bad. Go to your water control board.
Oh, I believe you. And
You're both wrong. So I put it into ChatGPT with a beautiful machine, and none of you are even close. Number one is actually Georgia. No one would have thought. Number two is Colorado. Number three is South Dakota. Number four is Kentucky. Number five is South Carolina. So yeah, none of you are ready.
No, those are states. Coco mentioned cities. Do cities next, please.
Gustavo, what list was that you just?
Wait, Hawaii is a city?
What's
no, Coco said Memphis, Tennessee is the city with the cleanest water.
Hawaii. So I didn't see.
Yeah, but the city.
I didn't see knowledge. I posted a link in the chat. I just quickly Googled it and it popped right up. So as far as allowing ChatGPT to think for you, I would do a little bit more research, because even like scientists who study this water, or whatever they call them, they kind of look at Hawaii as a nice way of filtering it because of the substrate that exists below the ground. But again, there's probably a billion different reports, and you know, I mean, if you're just gonna put your life in your hands with ChatGPT, go ahead. We can start the Terminator season now, and you know, where's John Connor when we need him?
Was hoping you could tell me that.
Actually, yeah, I just put it. What about Hawaii? It said I wasn't calculating Hawaii as one of the states, but if you want to calculate Hawaii as one of the states, I don't know why I would say that. But yeah, it says if you want to put Hawaii as one of the states, then Hawaii is ranked number one.
Oh, talking of water, the Flint, Michigan crisis was actually part of the, we worked that into the story, the animated series that I worked on a few years ago, as a kind of like the source of like superpowers for the show. But it was just picked to show at Tribeca Film Festival as part of Whoopi Goldberg's selection. So I'm just gonna put a little link in the chat for you all to follow. Support that. Thank you. It's not my project, but it's great. I've just done a little work on it. But
if you've done work on it, you've played a part in it, you get credit for it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're so sad.
It's concrete.
What's it
Monica,
called? Concrete.
Alaska, you probably enjoyed this thing too. I'm gonna put it in the chat. It's engineer. It's a computer engineering. So it's basically the layering of various fire maps over each other, just showing the population growth demographic of the area that I lived in. And it shows like the different mines and when they opened and when they closed and the nature. Really cool. It's the Torch Lake. It's one of the most polluted lakes in America. I've actually talked about it in here probably like 3 or 4 times just regarding like the sand and the pollution. It was purple for like, I think 10 or 15 years actually after the mining stopped. Just go look at it. It's really interesting.
Sick. Oh my gosh. I love these kinds of maps. Oh, so cool.
Yeah, no, I'll also see if I can find the other one. I made a kid-friendly app, like map application after a little thing I did when I was younger. It was called Project Sisu. I don't know. I'll talk about it more one day. I know y'all don't want to listen to me get a boner about the national park.
Oh, this is cool.
I actually like the national parks, so I would like for you to put whatever in the Discord too, so we can keep it since there's no recording of this room for replay purposes.
I don't wait to.
Yeah. And you know that Congressman has it on his YouTube.
Wait, what?
Oh, it's just a joke. I mean, I thought that was commonly known knowledge. He comes in here and reports all the time. What are we doing?
He's not here. Oh, he is here. I unblocked him, so I don't get the notifications anymore. So.
Yeah, I try to block as many of them as I can, but he makes so many. I gotta give him props for the dedication.
So, what are you not putting in the Discord so I can put it in there?
Oh, no, so it's in the chat. One of them is the Kitover Town Traveler. I'll find the other one. I think it's, if I remember correctly, I think I called it like Project Sisu or something. Sisu is like the word for strength in Finnish. It was one of my favorite sayings when I lived up in Michigan. I identified with it heavily, so I used it.
I put your link in the anime chat, and I put your link, Rican, in the educational one.
Thank you.
Still trying to get Louis.
You're off today.
I'm still trying to get Louis to
Chillism librarian. It's great.
Yeah, well, that's one of my strengths. So what I'm still hoping,
because we have to see you every day until you got a new job. Goodness gracious.
What makes you think I would get a new job?
Is this your
If Clubhouse got me fired, can you imagine?
Is this your day off?
None yet. I'm still trying to convince. I'm still 5 years old, so I could have retired, and then I'll be here every day, concrete. So happy. I'm trying to get Louis to update the Schoolhouse Rock. I think updating Schoolhouse Rock lessons in financial literacy and civics would be super cool. And I trust Louis and Nathan to do it for us. What do you guys think?
I think you should hold your breath until you see stars.
I'm not into autoerotic asphyxiation like you are, Bradley, so I would not. Thank you, though.
That wasn't even an erotic request. That was a pragmatic request.
I could give you the IKEA instructions.
I don't engage with you, Bradley. Catch a clue. We're not talking.
So then just shut up.
Stop coming for me. Stop coming for me, Brad. Leave me alone.
I'm trust that nobody's coming on you. Nobody has that much fucking time.
Again. Insulting me, you know what's gonna happen, and I don't have time to mod today. So back up. Get another topic besides Monica. Pick another topic besides Monica harassment, because I'm not in the mood. You whiny boy. You're so immature.
Obliterated cow. Like Jesus.
I'm Brad, and I don't use a case or a phone screen for my phone, and I've been up mountains, and I've never cracked it. I don't know what's wrong with you delicate people, but I don't have that problem, because I'm Brad, and I'm amazing. Leave me alone.
I think you break your phone in the fold of your thigh.
I have a recommendation for where to put your phone, sir, but I'm a lady, so I won't tell you.
when you sit or move. I think when you walk down the street, your phone cracks because the folds and the flab just keep going. I see an Oompa Loompa song while that fupa just swings back and forth.
What? Wouldn't the flap keep it safe?
You think so, but I mean, I guess
Back up a little bit. Just let the mic.
Formelda, does Formelda cheese actually protect itself? I don't know. Like, I mean, how gooey is it? Because like the way you talk, I just feel like you're drooling over your phone. So I'm just curious. Is there like a lot of saliva, little curds going?
I'm not the one that's fluently in my phone that we actually hear the spit travel from your lips to your phone. I don't know what's going on.
Fucking face.
Hey, Brad. Brad, tell the room how you would host rooms of 5,000 people on Clubhouse when the replays show that you barely scraped 1,000 on the best day. Go ahead, Brad. Share about Nathan and knowledge, not knowing what the hell, and here every day to cling on to conversations. Go ahead, Brad. Tell us.
Are you trying to sit there and say that you're like some fucking thing? And we did. We just didn't invite you. You don't have access to things. We ran the COVID rooms. Let me see. Who was in here? Dawn was in the COVID rooms. I think Chaos may have been. A couple other people were in there. I'm sure people in the goo were in there. And yeah, we had fucking actual help. We were rated the #1 political fucking content creator.
By who? Shut
the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about with your little, I want to sit there and make sure there's equality for all, and I don't believe in all this stuff because I'm a fat 50-year-old obese fucking white woman who wants to sit here. Maybe that's what you're more used to. But again, I still think you're the type of kid who grew up eating your cereal with water because your daddy left for milk and never came home.
Jesus Christ. I thought we were just talking.
I actually feel bad, Monica. I feel like this is my fault. I apologize.
You're fucking lying.
Apology not accepted because I don't believe you, Concrete. I think you're concern trolling now.
I don't feel bad that Brad just fucking excoriated you.
No.
I do.
Actually,
I disagree with you, Concrete. I think Monica's got the best of that exchange.
oh no, Nathan.
Oh, my
God. Don't do that.
It seems like it's 2 against 1.
Shout out to New York City drinking water.
All right, Pops. Go ahead and tell us about the drinking water of New York.
When Brad went dark, I went on you.
How did your event go? Did you sell any art pieces?
1 second, I'm grabbing a quick sign off. So thanks for asking.
Nathan, are you doing any celebratory rooms on Thursday?
Damn, Matt's not here. Monica, take a break.
Yeah, the event went well. It was on a boat. A very diverse crowd. I got two potential leads, like tall enough for my work. I wasn't sure how to price it. It was actually more of a party, and a bunch of people. There was a bunch of artists there. Didn't even have any like gallery cards, so like the little card to explain your art. It was just a bunch of people who created art, fine, and then dancing around, taking pictures of their art on a boat, sailing around New York City. So it was a bit anticlimactic for me, or I was like, I overhyped it. Literally, it was an exhibition, but not something where I thought that people were gonna like a traditional art exhibition for that matter. I was the only one with a placard or a gallery card, and get people interested in my stuff, but. It turned into a shit show everywhere because it was all you can drink. Hold on. But I had a lot of fun though.
Did anybody end up overboard? Did you have to fish anyone out?
No, but one dude offered to buy my piece. Like, it got such a shit show. I don't know how offended to be. But so he stood the way. It was a sailboat. So you can really go overboard really easy. Like, it didn't have much, like, very high railings. So they were asking to pick up my piece and hold it almost overboard. To be, but to be a little risky, I guess. Provocative, sure. So we held it up, and then he offered to pay me.
was to my work. So you know, with that, I don't know if anyone's an artist, but you get a bit vulnerable with expressing yourself and building shit. So I wasn't offended, but the dude, I kind of knew the dude, and then everyone was just like super high or super drunk. But so it was fun. And I got 2 leads, and I got like hella Instagram followers, and I was like, I pretty much stole the show because I was the only one who came in the traditional
prepared
art manner.
You're the only one that came prepared.
Yeah, like I was mad disciplined around it, and then the artist who was like doing strip teases in front of their paintings or whatever, and I'm like, whatever. I mean, art is art.
Oh, Pops, you could have totally done that. You could have totally done the shrimp tease.
Damn, I wasn't invited to that. Shit.
Dawn, you should reach out to Pops and tell him to show his art.
It was show though. I like that. My thing. The best part about the highlight was that touch it and interactive pieces, and people were like, you know, they found their clusters to hang out and stand around. Their comfort spaces, and my piece had the largest crowd standing around it. So more or less, and it didn't go viral yet. I didn't send it. I didn't put the images online of my work until after the exhibition, and I just put them up last night. So you know, I'm working with that, and then I just have to ship some stuff out. I just literally left the post office. I have to ship some products out. Then you know, I prototyped the product that's taken up too. So it's been a busy week, but it was successful nonetheless. Asking. Thanks for letting me.
Got on your art exhibition and non-controversial topic in the room today.
Yeah, you know, it's like this stuff gets to your head. Listening is one of the only things you can't do. We do Clubhouse by choice, but sound is the only sense that we cannot control because it travels in vibration. So like, you know, whereas vision, we just shut our eyes or whatever, and then we'll be blind or whatever. Sound we can't control. So I try to like, throughout creating and then being an adulting, I try to control the toxicity that comes into my space, and you don't really, you can control that, especially, you know, through avenues like Clubhouse. So appreciate you acknowledging that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I always love to hear you talk about your artwork because for me, like, you know, I do a little bit of everything. I usually hang my stuff in, you know, like the art collective parts of town. So, like, I work a lot with the street art collective, and, like, you know, I'll hang my stuff over there because, you know, mine's kind of like, I would call it, like, controversial art, but, you know, it's very niche, and I feel like a lot of the people that would enjoy it kind of hang around those areas. So, you know, like, goes up in coffee shops and stuff. And, you know, occasionally I'll get, like, a commission, like, hey, you know, I want you to do, like, this really cool big piece. And I can do that, but I don't know. I just kind of, like, I don't know. Just the way I do it. Every now and then I'll open a stall at Trader's Village, but that's just more like, you know, it's like a flea market setting. But again, you know, like, I appeal to the more, like, young hipster side of art. Like, sorry, the edgelord part, if you will. Like, I think I appeal more to edgelords with my artwork.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a similar multi-vendor style pop-up. They do a weekend on weekends, or you can do monthly contracts, and they have a variety of here in New York. But I'm okay with my avenue, but I still want more exposure. So I'm gonna explore that avenue to display my stuff sometime this summer. But there's I'm published or whatever, so I'm doing three of my friends are event organizers or whatever, like the art exhibition guy. So I'm gonna do the next event on my agenda or public exposure is gonna be I'm gonna do a pop-up for my book signings. I'm gonna order like 50 copies of my book, and then put a few pieces of my work at this speakeasy, and then hire one of my DJ friends for the night for like a few hours, and then do the invite and the promo stuff. So that's next, and then the vendor pop-up.
Yeah, that does sound fun.
Thanks. You guys are invited if you want to come to New York. The date is going to be like around mid-August, maybe. So that's tentatively. The books are just like, you got to pay out of pocket for these things, and then, I don't want to really use my like LOC or whatever. So it's I got to like pay. I get a discount on shipping and all that, but then and that's another thing. I don't want to like really have the inventory just in case shit doesn't sell, because I have like a lot of other prototypes that I've been doing that I just have stock for, and I just store it in my crib or whatever. And it's just like I'm just trying to sell it.
You said you wrote a book, or you're publishing a book?
Yeah, it's already published in January.
Okay, where can I buy it? And can you send the link? And then also, where can I get an autographed copy? Because I will buy people's books online, even if I don't.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I said you just warmed me, just made my morning so far. Thanks, man.
I do want an autograph though. Like I
so that's the thing, right? So like all that stuff, and I appreciate it. And I'll get you. I'm trying to like limit my exposure on. I'm trying to still remain anonymous for Clubhouse sake, but I mean, I'll send you one, and any press is good press. Eventually, y'all gonna know who I am. It's like something I've accepted. But the thing with the book, right? So a few other people messaged me on the back channel on Clubhouse, and then like so we're taking autographs. Well, I have to ship the book to myself first, right? And then sign it, and then ship it back to y'all, or ship it out to the public. So that's another thing, like with the taking inventory. So it gets kind of the little cost, the little shipping here and there, ship to myself, ship to you guys, buy the package and all that shit. I'm learning how to manage that, but I'll get you one, no doubt. And hold on, I don't want it to be too loud, but I'll get you one.
Great. Yeah, because I actually like original pieces of art, particularly in literature. I collect I'm really proud of my piece de resistance in my collection is an Ernest Hemingway first print, first edition, signed Men Without Women, one of his books. So I was really proud to acquire that. So I love collecting books.
Yeah, so a lot of people, if they can't afford the pieces, they buy the book. So the book it's not text heavy. It has some text in there, but when I build my works and display them, I take pictures of them, right? And it just so happens that you know how to take pictures of things that you created. So as the creator, I'm gonna get on mute 1 second. Let's see that. New York, New York.
I think one of my dreams is I want to make an oracle deck with my art styles. I think it would be very enjoyable. So I'll let you guys know if I actually ever start that passion project.
Yeah, so I take the pictures of my work, and then it just so happened that all the pictures were just piling up, and I would do like detailed pictures, high definition, high quality stuff, and I just had a file, like, just a full storage of photos of all my shit. And it all looked good because a lot of people it was a marketing kit. It was part of marketing for my shit. So I was like, let me just take all these pictures and put it in a table book. So I put it in a coffee table book, like for a centerpiece or your office or something to have like in your background. And you can flip through. It's all sheet clay. It's all high quality, really high quality prints in a hardcover landscape book. And so it was started as as a test. So I did it at like 70 pages just to see how it came, the original first draft copy. And it was a little thin. It didn't even have any text on the spine. I just wanted to see how it felt and how it smelled and whatnot. The physical, having it on my lap.
Pretty high quality paper.
Yeah, no, it's sheet clay, so it's definitely high quality. But so the enhanced copy, like the production copy now, it's 100 pages, and that's just version 1. Obviously, as I keep creating, new books are going to come out. So I'll probably do like another 100 pages like every year or so or something, depending on like how many people hire me. So I'm down. I'll send y'all some. There's 3 people on Club, 3 or 4 now actually people on Clubhouse who are very who are interested in the book.
It's really easy for me to print stickers and then, just kind of sell them at like 75 cents a pop because I can do a sticker pack.
Yeah, I have probably thousands of stickers, and I just play with different logos. Those for free. Just literally, envelope. But I'm gonna start because I go to spots too, like little artisanal art spots, and then they do sell stickers. I've seen stickers, the same stickers I get from the same manufacturer. I see people selling these stickers for $3 a pop, and I'm like, I just literally give these out. I know, right? Exactly.
Me, it's just like so. I'll see if Clubhouse will let me PTR it. For a while there, they were like Tom policing a lot of the work that I would post, so I had to go post it in the Discord. But there's some specific stickers that I just love posting. Like, I'll just stick them up in random places. But, I do, more, animograph work. So think, a provocative, let me just go get it. I think the way I'm explaining it it's not doing it justice. Give me 5 seconds.
Nice. Yeah, I give my stickers away for free. But I have a few suppliers. I get There's one in China now. I don't know if the tariffs impacted the price. I was given 1,000 stickers for like $40 shipped. And then, but like they were not that, like I would put them around my neighborhood or like wherever, and then I would revisit them, and then they weren't that high quality. They were like thing in the rain and shit. So I just upped the quality, and then I still give them out for free. The best stickers so far are the ones that are like they're silver, so they're reflective silver, so they're shiny, and those are like the most weather resistant. But my logo like changes color sometimes. It's a standard logo, but just do it in different colors or whatever. So, but the silver stickers are the most weather resistant, like the ones with foil.
Okay, see if you can actually look at it. I don't know if, no, never mind. I'm still NSFW. My bad. Never mind. Clubhouse don't want to see a Hispanic artist win.
You can put it in the Discord, though.
I've had it multiple times.
I can see the frog. You have to click into the image to see it. That's part of like every time Clubhouse updates, you gotta like click it. It says NSFW, but I can go into your profile like through now multiple clicks and then I'll see it. I see the frog. That's pretty dope.
Oh yeah, no, I make stickers like that.
That's a bug. That's fire. You drew that, right?
Yes.
That's fire.
Yeah, no, I put a lot of my art in the Discord actually, and I think there are some other ones like in my profile if you look. Oh yeah, no, there's my Pegasus, there's my Maneater. Yeah, no, there are a couple in there.
You should have one with an asterisk saying "but why" caption on top of it.
No, remember the one that I did? It was Satan reading the newspaper, and the newspaper was the Daily Damned.
I remember that. I think I've seen it before. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna like create a small, quick thing with like a butt crack on it and say "but why" on top.
It's gonna sell for thousands.
I don't think so, but
Bro,
I'm just doing it for shits and giggles.
I mean, you know, people love a good satire.
So the title of the woman eating the heart is Maneater. That's great.
Yeah, did you see what's in front of her plate though?
How is it a man's heart though? Do we have no proof?
No. Look at the plate in front of her. Look at the plate directly in front of her. Don't look at the heart. Look at the other plate.
Yeah, that's a gender-specific plate right there.
Yeah, that's why it's Maneater.
Wait, is it testicles? I feel like it's like kidneys and like liver is what I see it as.
No, Cass, that is a weenie.
Let me zoom in to that.
Do that. Do zoom in. Do that. My baloney has a first name. It's O-C-R.
Oh my god, now I see it. Looks like I didn't. I didn't see that until then.
Nathan, what type of bird is in your PTR? It's not a crow.
Yeah, Nathan, stop avoiding the question, Nathan.
I see you dodging
I
it.
don't know what kind of bird this is.
You're skating on that question. I see you dodging.
I feel like it's a very perfect bird for Nathan's PTR because he's from Bohemian. He's a Bohemian, but he acts like he's an American black. It's like a common bird trying to act like he's an American bird.
Well, I mean, isn't he fairly naturalized?
He said, "Stop it, chaos."
No, wait, no. Nathan, how do you say plantain? That's how we determine if he's like.
Don't make him say it.
You just said plantain. That is a racial attack. He just did that.
No,
it's because he said plantain.
We say plantain too. We say plantain as well. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong. We say plantain too. I'm just like saying. Nathan won't say plantain. He's not naturalized yet.
That's
you
wrong.
can tell who's from what island by the way they say plantain.
That's wrong. Stop saying it like that. Do it.
Even I think it's the English colonies, man. English colonies say that, and I don't take any offense to it. It is.
Jamaican supremacy. You're both wrong.
You know what was crazy was when Mountain came in, and then Nathan was like, "Mountain," and it became a thing. That was.
I wish I was there for that. That sounds so funny. Aaron.
He's still around. He's got a different name though. I can't remember what it
I think his
was.
name is John, right? John something.
Yeah, but it's not even John anymore. It's something else.
Someone invite him, please, and we can do the same things.
I can't remember what his name is now.
Jahan. Johan.
I am dead, Matt, with that PTR. I am dead. And you know what's crazy? They attacked the city that is like super liberal. Well, Tel Aviv is like super liberal. I don't know why they would do that, but
I don't know, when we went to go, I was in the country at the time doing a documentary, and we were going to go to Pride, and we were like in the bulletproof car or whatever, and then had to turn back because someone turned up with a machete, so wouldn't say that liberal.
it should have been a machete-proof car that you went to, not a bulletproof car.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, for for that part of the world, wouldn't you say like they're still probably one of the more liberal, more welcoming?
Yes, that's one of the things that I feel like is
not to everyone.
well spoken of.
Did you see what happened to the group of protesters that went to Egypt? That was fucking wild. They got beaten in the streets.
Wait, what were they protesting?
They were protesting against Israel, and they got beaten in the streets. They were standing up for Palestinians, and they got, there were women just beating them on the ground. They think they're sitting, and then they got corralled. Egypt was like, oh, no. And they're like, we have rights. And Egypt went, no, you don't.
Yeah, I feel
I think that's something that people get very confused about. You don't have rights in certain parts of the world that you have here. We have different liberties here in America than you do in many, many other places.
Even if I just wanted to say that even if obviously the person in the chat has never seen my work, I don't even know if he was talking about me. But even when someone disapproves of my work, because obviously you're not for everyone, right? You can't be universally, not even McDonald's is for everyone, right? But it's still the point of art. Like that's just my favorite part. It's like so good, like having the appeal for someone to receive or acknowledge and formulate an opinion about something that you put out there. It's just insane. Like for someone to disapprove of it is it's almost equal gratification, right? You still put something out there and you still have like someone's perception, and then you can go with it two ways. You can be like, okay, great, now I know I'm on track, I'm doing the right thing, or you can adapt and cater and provide them something that they want. But obviously, the latter is like not the method, but it's still like equal gratification having an opinion, having someone's opinion about your art, whether they disapprove or not, and that's the point, which is ugly.
Exactly. Sorry. Oh, sorry. There's a great quote from my favorite band, AJJ, where they say, if that's what gets your dick hard, telling people they're bad at making art. So, you do you, but
I love it.
I love that for you.
Anywho, the first time I showed someone my work and like what I was trying to express and they saw something completely different, I was like actually honored. Like, this is my creation, sure, and this was my intention, this is what I was trying to say, but that you were able to extract something completely different than what I was trying to express. I was like, I don't need you to see what I see, but that you saw something, I appreciated.
Maybe it's just the way I grew up, but I just remember growing up as a kid and having access to like various like art institutes and opportunities, even as being poor. Like you could go to the Museum of Art during the day and it was $0.25. Now, I mean, you know, it was one of those things, and mostly we went there because it was humor. But I never understood like this country's weird obsession with pushing back against arts in schools. Like we will build $150 million fucking high school football stadium, and we will slash the budget for the art classes, the musical instruments, and all of that stuff. We will absolutely destroy that shit and say it's not important, while in the push and the claim that we only need STEM. And I kind of laugh at that, because if you only have STEM, where are you going to get your entertainment from? Like that's literally your main crux. You're just working then at that point, in my opinion. And I just don't understand this country's notion now to just slash all of the arts. It just makes no sense.
Well, I think it's probably a couple things. One, my first thought is, well, if they're only willing to pay a quarter to see the art, and they're willing to pay $10 per head to get into the stadium.
Pause.
Anyway, there's more of a return on investment for the football stadium. But I agree with you. It's like a social good, and you have to incorporate those into your cost. Like it may cost you money today, and you may never get in air quotes like return on investment for the museum, but it's something that should be part of your community. So you take the hit.
That was beautiful, Tally.
Loki, I got a question.
Loki!
Is it an object or the person's interpretation of the object that makes art what it is?
I didn't hear the first part. Can you repeat your question?
Is it simply the object? Is it simply the object?
Yeah, you tell him to leave me alone. That's right. Go ahead. Is it the object or the art?
Yeah. Is it the object or the interpretation of the object that makes art art?
Well, for me, I would say, one, it doesn't matter. Two, everything is art. And three, if the object isn't viewed, it doesn't matter. So if the apple had never been seen, it wouldn't be like, even, I don't know, like if, say, God had created the object and he was the only person to ever view it, it would still be art, even if he's the only viewer. So I don't think you need a second party to observe for it to qualify as art. The object itself, I think, is enough, and the creator.
When I look at art, I see it in two different ways. I see it as somebody trying to call upon a past emotion and pass it on to other people. And when I see art, I also see it as, if love is an art, it takes effort and knowledge.
Alexa, volume 10.
Yeah, so like I'm saying, look.
Was that done on purpose?
Yeah, she's doing that on purpose. She's one of those girls that's jealous of men because she lacks the ability to be like them. So I'm going to continue to say what I was saying like a man. So, love, if love was an art, it will require a lot of knowledge and effort, right? And usually when people make art, they use it to communicate a past feeling or emotion so others can feel it too. So in turn, it takes a lot of certain ideas to be formulated for someone to say, I feel that, I understand that. But it's all often based on experience. Experiences, like I always tell the others, Nathan, it's the teachers of fools. So instead of trying to communicate our experiences, We should try to communicate an experience no one has ever felt in order for to achieve something they never experienced.
What would be the benefit of that?
God, the beautiful artist, the most perfect
Just saying a word, but what's the benefit of that? What do you get out of that?
Are you comfortable with the mundane? Not me. Boredom.
That was a question. What's the benefit of what you said?
It helps you escape from boredom, and boredom is depression. That's exactly what it is. So art is a way to, is a medicine.
Wait, what if people don't get depressed when they're bored?
Show me a motherfucker that's depressed and not bored, man.
Well, hold on, that's an argument from ignorance. I'm saying, what if people don't?
Then you have mobs. You have mobs coming after people that they don't understand.
Because if people don't get depressed if they're bored, then you have mobs?
Think about it like this. If you have a bunch of people who's content and mundane, when somebody who is not bored and having fun, they go to look at him like he's a monster.
Wait, but these are just claims. I'm saying, like, what happens?
You cut out, bro.
1 second.
Yo, Loki, I was watching y'all playing the game on Discord. That shit look mad confusing.
That's because that's actually playing. She played real stupid, bro. I'm not gonna lie. She's a perfect player to play with, but if you was to watch her play, alright, look, bro, you a motherfucking construction worker and you a business nigga. So you know there's leaders, there's other niggas that can do the unique tasks that the
I prefer to say unpredictable, Loki. I'm unpredictable.
No, you are a perfect team player that has to be designated to a job. If not, you know what I mean? That's like me. I have a certain job. If you die, I bring you back. If you're in trouble, I'm going to help you. You want to be number 2, I'm going to get you there. But if you want to be number 1, it's on you. I can't take you to number 1. I'm playing on the Switch. 30 frames per second. The day I play like y'all going to be like, oh my God. Nigga, look at my rank, nigga. I'm double platinum. If I win a few more matches, I'm legendary. Ain't nobody in the world ever did that. And I'm doing that shit light on the Switch, like, nigga. And you know we get paid for this shit too, right? If you win. I already won like $200 one time, so now I'm just like chilling.
I just want to start streaming. Like, if I can figure out how to do the streaming thing on TikTok, I think that would be fun.
No, you heard what Knowledge just said? We need to make it look good when we playing. We gotta make niggas say, oh, that look fun. Not what the fuck is going on. So we gotta practice on Discord. When we step our shit up, we jump on TikTok. That's how you do it. We don't
Yeah, but you gotta gain a following. Like, you have to start posting, while you're still practicing, then you build a following.
Then
I already have a couple hundred followers.
That's what you got to practice. Practice coming to my Turtle Island. Because if you die, you coming there anyway. Look, I ain't never been in the military. But if I see 1,000 niggas jumping on a parachute on a little spot, I'm not going to jump there too if the purpose of the game is to survive and be the last nigga left. Y'all niggas really think y'all Rambo.
Yeah, but it's fun to get into a firefight. It's fun. Even
It's
if you
not the
lose.
purpose of the game, though. There's always a purpose of something. If you think a game has no purpose, then you're not playing the game.
That's probably because I started with Call of Duty. Your Call of Duty goal is to get your KD ratio low as possible. My KD is trash, but
Call of
I have
Duty
fun.
is for autistic people. And I'm going to say this again. It's like an elevator. You got an elevator, you throw 10 niggas in there, you say fight. That's not like Fortnite. Fortnite is a big old pool and little obstacles, and then you got to kill people. That's more tactical.
It also depends on your play style, though. Like, it depends on your play style. If you're there's people that trap. There's people that camp. There's also people that just go in for the kill and they push. It just depends on your play style. There's no perfect play.
You see? That's why you don't get number 2. That's why. That's exactly why.
Hey, I bring home a couple victory. I bring home the crown a couple times. We're talking about Fortnite, my love.
I got victory right now.
Yeah, and you did too.
She know.
Her first time playing on mouse and keyboard, she brought home a victory royale.
That's why I'm gonna play on my Switch. Dude. That Switch, they got a little mouse on it now. So I'm gonna see what you're talking about. My journey should be here this week. I ain't gonna front. I woke up this morning just to see if they restock, just in case I gotta cancel that eBay order. But nope. You embarrassed her. Nah, let's talk about we looked at crazy on it.
I'm talking to my baby.
I'm talking now. That nigga talking about we looked crazy. We gotta make sure we play better next time.
It's fun.
Well, I would have liked to have known Nathan's answer to the previous question because I was not listening for anything after someone began speaking.
Because you're a rude individual, Tally, and I think we should settle this right now. We should make peace. Like countries that have problems, they make treaties.
And I will never, you will never know peace with me.
Yo, Ed, come over here. I have a question for you. This is day 4 now. You've been running away from me for some reason. It's not a gorilla question, I promise.
Wait, you told me?
No, A.
Who the fuck is that?
It's A-Walk. He's down there.
Yeah.
He might be at work right now.
He's on a psych strike.
You know we can't see your photos for the weekend, so you gotta fix that.
Nah, it's all good. It was just some of my artwork. It's done now.
He's like, that's some of my artwork. Who was that?
You know what it was.
No, I went to Flood down.
It was.
No, you were thinking of shit.
And you know what I don't hear? You washing your filthy, disgusting hands.
I wasn't shitting, nigga. I just went to, I'm rolling up my back.
You were shitting, bro.
Oh my God.
I heard the pants. But you know what? I didn't hear the voice change, which means that you weren't bending over to wipe.
No, because I was rolling up my backwood. So I rolled up my backwood, I got dumped off the guts. I didn't want to go to the garbage or walk all the way to the living room when I could just flush it down the toilet.
But, you know, when people touch the little handle to flush the toilet, it's typically after completing the task that causes them to have to wash their hands. So no matter what you say about why you didn't wash your hands, you are now touching the surface where the unwashed hands go. So you are disgusting.
You sound like Michael Jackson, who was scared to touch women.
Anyway. Oh yeah, Mike's question. Go on.
Yeah, I'm on vacation right now, so I haven't been hanging out here.
You having fun?
Hell yeah, bro. It's better than work for sure.
Are you talking to us?
Because Mike made a question for me?
Hi, A-Walk.
What's up, Florida?
Oh, not much. Just playing Baldur's Gate.
You gotta play Fortnite so the weekend.
I have not played Fortnite in years.
You played it before?
I played it when it first came out, when I was in high school.
What? That shit came out then?
You don't have to build anymore, sort of.
Yo, everybody...
They have a no-build mode.
No, that's the fun part. That's the fun part. You can't take that away. That's fun.
Wow.
I hate the building. I'm not quick enough.
And what I told you about that, Ashley. But yo, all my family, they saying like I'm mad late playing Fortnite, but I'm like, I ain't know about this shit. And then I'm like, I never like Call of Duty because I can never see the people. I don't like just looking at hands. Like that shit feel weird to me.
I want them to make another Fallout. That was always my favorite. I just don't think Bethesda can do it and not have it suck at this point.
Wasn't that playstyle like
Last for sure. The new art, people are leaving and going back to Evolve because it's become just like so many microtransactions. It's nuts.
You know about Arc 2, Puerto Rican?
Huh?
You know about that game Arc she's talking about?
I think Ark is gay. That's me personally. I'm not a fan.
But you know about it, and it's popular?
Yeah, it's popular. I think it's just... I don't think it has enough of a goal and purpose for me. I think that's the thing that... I just...
Somebody said, see, I ain't even played that motherfucking game, and I said your playstyle is like that in Fortnite. You need to be designated.
Mike, are you there?
I enjoy the grind life, okay? I like the grinding.
But there's no purpose at the end of the grinding, from my general understanding. Other than you're just breeding animals. No, at that point, just go download. No, go fucking download. What is it? Pal World and go do that.
What was the little baby eggs we used to have as kids on the little Gigapet shit?
Tamagotchi pets?
Is it Gigapets?
I don't know. I had a Yoshi pet.
I think it was Gigapet. I'm old, but I think it was Gigapet.
You old bastard.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize that.
You're old as shit. I'm kidding. You're not.
35 ain't old. Like,
No, I was joking with you. Yeah.
What do you think about the straight mustache for me?
For you? Like just nothing else, just a mustache?
I've been rocking with my Snapchat. It's a straight mustache.
Bro, ain't you African?
I mean, it looks okay.
Yeah, I'm African, nigga.
So why would you have a mustache, nigga?
No, he's biracial.
Oh, he biracial. Oh, that makes sense. So he got a mustache.
Yeah, no, the mustache is good.
Don't have mustaches, nigga. They're not supposed to have that shit.
Yeah, no, he looks good with a mustache.
See, I don't think he know the gift of certain races. See, like, I could talk shit about races, but each race has a gift. And one thing about the African, their skin is pure. They don't get acne like that. If they want to make themselves look beautiful, remove the hair, not the women, and then they'll be perfect. Like Puerto Ricans, Europeans, every race got their own gift, but nobody speaks on it. You're not supposed to, because gifts supposed to be like seen and shit and found, not just offered. So cut your fucking mustache off, nigga. You ain't Spanish.
Fuck you, bro. I'm about to rock this bitch for the rest of my life.
Okay, honestly though, like I don't think you've really seen AWOC. He could pass as like a Puerto Rican. He really could.
Oh, so that's different. That's different. If he's biracial, so he's sort of like a Puerto Rican, so he can wear a mustache. It's different. I thought he was pure African.
No. He's just an AWOC.
This nigga Mike wanted to ask me a question. Is not even getting off mic.
Yes. Hey, how are you, sir?
Well, this shit chilling right now.
Don't you address him as a sir? He's not a sir.
Well, to me, he's a sir. So look, I know that you have the ability to set your personal feelings aside. Okay? So I want to ask you something. Set aside your personal feelings and just use your logical lens right now. Do you think that Barth is a good reasoner?
He's probably better than like the average person here, but I don't think he's like really that good. I think the average person here is kind of garbage, but I mean he's probably better than people like I don't know, like BB and stuff like that, right?
So it's yes or no. Do you think he's a good reasoner? Yes or no?
Yeah, yes, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. So you guys knowledge, Nathan, you guys have one. Now, do you think that amongst the higher level thinkers on this app, he has a reputation of being stupid?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not the higher thinker, but I also think he's dumb. I don't think he's a good reasoner, but I said to acknowledge Nathan, I'm gonna take a poll, and so.
Yeah, like, I think in the sense that, like, you know, he's able to understand an argument and then maybe rhetorically frame it in his own way, I think requires some level of reasoning capacity, right?
Okay. Where would you grade him?
Oh, like a 5 tops.
And who would be a 10?
Probably that guy Ethan.
Yeah. So 5's not that bad if Ethan's a 10, though. Shit.
He's
he is 5 is average. He's above average.
Bro, he's below average. The guy's dumb.
Yo,
but that's just my opinion. That's like, hey, thank you for answering. And
all right, if we go to, I got this question. If we go to measure, let's make it simple, men, right? We go to add fighting to the category. If we measure in a person as a man,
no.
Why not?
Did you propose the setup to Bart yet?
No, I haven't seen him.
I tried yesterday, but there was like stuff happening on.
He was in the room with the guy, but like quiet. I said I'm gonna give $100 to the winner because apparently Bart's stronghouse is like Muslims. Yo, sorry, one sec. Oh.
Martha's retarded. That's all.
Well, you AWOL.
So AWOL, I'm trying to set up a debate where I want to see him debate a Muslim. I think he'll lose. What's his name?
Do you mean like the weird Muslims on the app, or like an actual just logically based?
I don't know any more Muslims on this app anymore. But Andrew said he knew a couple. But the guy he read.
Well, if it's, I don't know if you ever decided whether it would be like by crowd vote, where if Barth was able to like make him seem kids, or if it's a panel of judges. I think that a panel of judges would probably be more likely to like see past Barth's tactics. So I guess it depends on exactly what the setup and how it's decided who wins. Whether or not this guy's calm demeanor would work for or against him.
Hold on, I missed it. Mike, did AWOL say that yes or no?
AWOL said yes. He's with you guys. So, but that shows that like something went wrong. Yeah, there you go. So we got one so far. Yo, AWOL, do you think that he would ever defeat Timothy in an argument?
No, fuck no.
Exactly.
This is like rhetorical. Yeah. He would get him rhetorically. I mean, I like debates though. I had this issue earlier. Like I was like in some psychology server arguing about essentially like personality analysis and like how we weight like given behaviors towards certain personalities. And this guy just fucking started calling me a dumb nigger and shit. Like I think he won that argument because like he didn't engage with me at all logically, but he kept insulting me and the audience liked it, you know? Exactly. Like, I think he did beat me in a sense. Like he didn't have a substantive kind of critique of what I was saying or even an argument, but I think he entertained the kind of audience in a way that made me look like I lost.
Who is this?
There's some retard on the internet, bro. You never met him. It's on Discord. Oh, what's his name?
Answer my question, Mike.
What was your question?
Alright, look, is in the realm of this. Is it possible to measure men? Because I could also flip.
Pending.
They just muted me. But look.
What do you mean? Is it possible to what?
They just muted me. I was trying to tell you, but if you say like if we measure, see how we measure in Barth by his reasoning skills. I'm asking, can we measure men? And in the sense of, I asked you about fighting, and I'm liking that to even a man defending himself. If a man can't defend himself,
I guess you can measure how good they are.
So if a man can't defend himself, if he can't reason, and say he can't have children, would we say he's less than a man?
No.
Why not?
Because less than a man means like you're changing fucking this guy's fucking biology. He's just an incapable man.
All right, I like that.
Semantics, right? That's semantics.
It's not semantics.
What he means.
It's not semantics. It's called precision, right?
It's articulate. It's a little bit articulate.
If you want to be precise, you got to be precise, bro. Sorry.
Less of a man simply means that the equation that makes a man something he lacks.
No,
he lacks something on the equation, so he must love that.
If you're in a wheelchair and you're just not that smart, you're not less of a man. You're just incapable of doing things.
All right, so ask the women. Look at the women. The women stand on the sideline.
I'm going to mute for a second, but I'm going to be right back.
All right, so look at the women. They stand on the sideline looking at the men. And if they see a man lacks reasoning, if they see that man can't defend himself, if they see that man can't have children, they would say he's less than the other men around them. And in their realm of thinking, they'll be right to say that. But now, Mike is right too. That's just two different worlds speaking their truth. But the women would be right to say that man is less than a man compared to the other men.
Yeah, I reject that notion because, again, like as it was presented to you, what does it mean to be a man? Right? And if we're just referring to biology, then everything else you just pointed to is irrelevant.
But we're not referring
to
biology.
Yes, men. Hold on, I didn't interrupt you. Yes, men and women have different values for potential mates that they're looking for, right? But that doesn't mean that just because somebody doesn't meet the expectations for a potential mate, that makes them less of a man, because what defines a man is not your values of the individual.
It's the societal values. You're missing that, Shalnito. We're not basing it on and if you listen to what Loki said, he wasn't basing it on his opinion on the subject. He was talking about how society sees it. And he wasn't talking about the biology, talking about the societal ideas on what is a man.
I'm aware of that, but being a man. Yeah, I'm aware of that, but what was being presented to him was about biology. Like, to me, like, talking about people being less, like, you're dehumanizing people when you say that they're less than a man.
Yeah, like a man.
That's dehumanistic.
Like what Mike was saying.
Because what you're trying to do is infer that, like, there's something about their nature or their biology that doesn't meet your expectations, which is
society.
But again, when I'm talking about a man and a woman, I'm not referring to like how I value you. I'm talking about a very specific set of information, right? Like I'm specifically talking about biology. If you're not talking about biology, then we're not talking about the same.
Correct. And not only that too, suppose we even go with what you want to say, like, ooh, it's whatever, some performative fucking social fucking norm, and he fails to be less than a woman. So now we know he's less than a man and less than a woman. Is he less than a human now? Like, is that what's coming next?
If you feel that way.
Well, if we're doing the if thing, then it's like we're both right then. And there's nothing to push back against.
Mike, I have a question for you. If you're just utilizing biology to define what a man is, because we're still trying to figure out what a woman is apparently, but if you're going to use biology as the sole criteria to define what a man is, please explain why you can't use societal's constructs from the first time we crawled out of the humans to today.
I don't know what I got to do from here.
Let me see.
Look, you see.
I'll go after you, Loki.
You see how Mike was able to say, if we continue this route, where do we say we're going to stop? To the humanistic point. Now, I'm saying this all started because the way y'all was measuring balls. And I took that personal. I said, yo, that's sort of messed up. We're measuring him based upon his reasoning when there's other aspects, like self-defense, fighting, progeny, when there's even strength, knowledge, different things. So if we choose how we go to measure a person based upon our feelings and our own strength, then we're doing injustice to society, because then where do we stop? Because we can measure each other easily, and a lot of us will fall short.
So measuring is something that's natural, but what the problem arises is when you try to like punch somebody down based on like your views of them. Like if I'm looking for a potential mate, right? There's a set of criterion by which I'm looking for a potential mate. And if they don't meet that criterion, I'm just like, they're not suitable for me as being mate. But I don't feel the need to then punch them down as an individual. Like that to me is not a value that I ascribe to.
Sonito,
Oh, I'm sorry, Nathan. You asked to go. Can I go after?
of course.
Are you going, Nathan?
Yeah, he's just getting his mic set up. Should give him a second.
Well, while he's waiting, I don't want to, it might not be quick. Shanito, but see, here's the thing. You personally may not, but men as a collective actually do that. We conquer territory. We force people out. We do punish people for a variety of things. Various nations will do that, and we'll utilize that under a collective state. Your individual response has to be included with the collective response of a given society, because we work and live as men in those societies, so we have to account for that. Do we not?
Yeah. Again, I'm aware that people do this. What I'm stating is that I don't value that mentality. I'm presenting to you a value system, right? That I think is better than the one that you're presenting to me. Like the way the human beings have behaved in the past, I don't value a lot of those behaviors.
Okay.
Right? I would argue that most of the people, I would argue many people that also don't value those things. Are there people that exist today that have those values? Well, sure, but I would argue that they're inferior based on the fact that they're losing the battle.
Okay, Sean, what nation do you live in? Like, what country in the world? Is it U.S., Canada?
Yeah, I live in the U.S.
Okay, perfect. So you have a certain expectation in society to be able to formulate your own thoughts, your own opinions, be able to go protest, be able to correctly or have the adequate opportunity to address your grievances, correct? You believe in that you want safety in your neighborhoods, your communities. You want to make sure that criminals aren't coming in and, God forbidding, doing some heinous act onto your society, damaging your property, stealing everything that you have. You want repercussions. You want a system set in place to keep the wolves at bay. You want a stronger force to be able to repel somebody from coming in and maybe enslaving you, turning you into serfs, taking everything you own, taking that chunk of land, renaming your citizenship. All of these things, you can say you offer a construct of the past. I'm saying you are currently living in that society and you benefit from that while looking in a glass shielded, protected house. I say that you are part of that construct that you're currently living in because you choose to exist under the very frameworks that we have in place that are provided by the idea of what men need to do. Majority of the military, majority of your infrastructure jobs in your neighborhood, your city, your towns across the U.S., men. Number of gas just to get to your car, men. Majority of factory line workers, men. Number of hazards, like everything from providing you water, your toilets flushing, your electrical, your generators, majority men. They are expected to hold that. Nowhere else does society really expect women to jump into the fray of those. They were supposed to, they wanted that right, but the stats and the numbers actually show a reduction since those times, and they are not doing it. Your mining, your minerals, the material for your house, your logging companies, all of that stuff, majority of men. You actually show that you need the men.
Again, how is that anything you just said? Like, that was just a complete diatribe. Like, how is any of that relevant to what I said? It sounded to me like you just took some red herring and ran with it. Like, what I said was, like, if we're talking about our values, what I'm actively doing is trying to actualize my values in society. Some of the stuff that you mentioned are things that I value, but my main response is the fact that just because, like, if I'm looking for somebody as a potential mate, right, I'm going to have a set of criteria, values, by which I judge, and I contrast other people on who I want to have in my life, right? if somebody doesn't meet that criterion, then I'm not going to pursue that person, for any reason as far as like some sort of love interest, right? So I don't think that it's like it's weird or far-fetched to say that, but at the same time, the reason why I'm saying that is I don't need to punch somebody down when they don't meet that criterion. Like I don't need to say like a woman is less of a woman because they don't meet the criterion for being a potential mate for me. That was my entire response. So everything you said, wasn't really a response
my point
to that.
is that you said I don't judge what is based, use it as a societal construct because we've used it since we first crawled out of the ooze. And you said, no, I want to condemn those of the past. And I stated you are currently living under those very constructs.
Exactly.
I'm not.
And so you missed it by going off on this whole like, oh, you went on a red herring and you're attacking me. I'm not. I'm just saying you actually significantly benefit by society's definition of what a man is because a man is currently providing you water, food, and so
that's not what I'm referring to.
You're absolutely everything you need to live in life and succeed in your own personal life. And a man is providing that to you at great cost to himself.
That's not what I'm referring to, man.
Need to do.
That's not what I'm referring to. I don't understand why you're not like addressing the things I'm saying. You're things that I didn't say, and you're running with it. When did I ever say anything about what you're talking about? Like, that's why I'm saying it's a complete red herring, is because it's not germane to what I've stated.
Yo,
and I would also like to argue. Go ahead, son.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if y'all are aware, but Shanita's force field is impenetrable. So.
Shanito.
No,
if you're looking at those
impenetrable, it's just like. What was that? Sorry.
When you're looking at those icons, like those representation of what a man is, those symbols, right? Do they ever, generally speaking, of men in wheelchairs? Like if you were to go to a wedding and you would see the bride and the groom, it's the groom, not a man, and it's that man not standing. But when we talk about, hey, what's generally accepted as what being a man is, these are the things that we appeal to as a society. Not the individuals, the society. If you ask someone's personal feelings on it, someone might say, you know what? I do think that that's less of a man. But society does. And we use images. We use words to describe that. And you do live in that reality, brother.
No, I don't live in, like, your mental construct. If that, because reality is what it is.
This is the environment you're in.
Reality is what it is, independent of whatever mental construct you ascribe to. You do understand that, right?
Where's Mike? He loves these kind of philosophical debates.
Y'all gotta fight back, man.
Yeah, right. I don't know what to tell him. He's not living in reality. He wants to critique what masculinity is. He wants to stick to a biological reference, but he doesn't. He wants to remove all of the social constructs that actually exist around masculinity, as well as the
No. When did I ever mention masculinity?
He wants to do that. I didn't get that from him at all. Sorry, I'm talking to someone else. Sorry.
I don't think y'all know how this all started, Joe. Again, this started from many people in this room.
Started when you flushed the toilet, bro.
Skills of boss. And then measuring the
did you ever
reasonable
wash
skills
your
of boss.
hands?
Yes. Settle down.
Nah, we want to get you to wash your hands. I want to hear the soap pumping all.
Relax. Listen.
I will not. You're touching your phone with your do hands, and I don't like that.
Listen, I'm not going to bully you. I'm not going to take it there because I'm a bigger person. Now, listen. So, this all started from people wanting to measure the reasoning skills of boss. And in that, they started to punch down on Barth. So I took it personal and said, you know what? What if we start measuring men on other aspects, like fighting, having children, even train for other skills, financials, whatever. And then it could take a whole rabbit hole, and we can never stop. So maybe Shanito would probably stand aside my argument and say, hey, that was wrong. Yeah. But I disagree with Shanito. I think we should measure people based on morality. If someone is doing something wrong, then we should measure them and say this is less than a man. Less than a way a man should behave.
Wait, why do we have to? Just because we have social norms as to how people perform doesn't mean that it takes away from what they actually are, right?
Yes, it does.
No, it does not.
Yes, it does.
You could treat them a certain way, right? But if I treat a fucking tomato like an apple, it doesn't mean it's a fucking apple, bro. I can get a motorcycle. I can take off the handle. I can take off the handle. I can take out the handle of a car, put the fucking the steering fucking whatever the handles of the bike on the fucking car. So there's no steering wheel. I could take off the tires, put 2 motorcycle tires on, right? Assuming it's not those fucking tricycle things. And I'm like, fuck, take off the windshield, and I'm driving a bike now. Society, nah, dude. Look, the idea of what men should be like doesn't mean that if you're not what they should be like, you're no longer a fucking man. It just means that you're not performing to the standards that they think men should perform. Does that mean that you're not a man? No. Because
yes, it does.
No, it does not, bro. No,
why
it does not.
We have prisons?
Because you're not. Look. Go ahead.
Let's say this, right? You're supposed to be high speed, and you're giving us low speed energy. You can't be high speed energy just because they slapped the label high speed on there, bro. You're not high speed.
No. You're right. But look. I understand that because now we have a contrast of what fast is, right? If I say I'm a parent, whether I'm a good parent, a non-parent, or a bad parent, I'm still a fucking parent. That's the only reason why they could critique me, is because they know what I am, right? And they're assuming how I should perform based off of what I am, right? That's why.
People. Like fat people.
No, fat people are actually fat because you have contrast, you have skinny. My point is this, is that standards are gonna change, bro. But it doesn't mean that the thing that they're setting it upon changes what they are. That is what else do we do that with? What else do we fucking do that with, bro? No, we don't do that with morality. You're either moral or immoral. The standards of morality changes because you have the God standard, then you have the secular standard, then you have the whatever standard, I don't know, whatever you want to choose from.
It differs, but it doesn't change.
Yes, it does change. What do you mean? What doesn't change, actually? What do you mean by that? What doesn't change?
God's morality doesn't change.
I'm not talking about God's morality changing. So you're taking it somewhere else. I'm saying the concept of morality, right, is at least generally understood. What you ought or ought not to do, right? Fine, we understand that as morality. So if you see somebody that's doing something that they ought not do, it's contrasted. It's reflecting on a standard, right? That doesn't mean that they're no longer a fucking human. Right? It just means that they're not acting the way you think they should act. Think about it, dude. You wouldn't do that to your fucking kid. Hey, my kid should act this way. If they don't act this way, they're no longer my kid. What the fuck do we do that to? Can you make a fucking vegan patty a steak because it tastes like a steak, therefore it's a fucking steak? No, motherfucker, what the properties of that thing are, it's not a steak, even if it doesn't perform like a steak. We don't change things because we don't operate a certain way. It's either broken or it's not. It's either doing what we think it should be doing or it's not. If it's not doing what we think it should doing, then we just call it broken, malfunctioning, not meeting the standard. Not meeting the standard just means, hey, look, dude, you're just not there yet. I would never fucking change the thing because it doesn't mean the standard. That's fucking retarded.
No, we're saying the thing isn't the thing because it hasn't met the standard.
I'm saying that's the case. I'm saying if a car doesn't drive, right, and it's intended to drive, is it no longer a car? Or is it just a car that's not operable? It's a fucking car. It's just a broken car. That's the
But
thing.
we're not talking about just the objects. We're talking about.
I am talking about the object because a human is an object. A human
we're not
is an
talking about
object.
humans. We're talking about a man.
I know
What is a man? What is a man?
I'm telling you, a man is an object that has a standard biological reference. That's why I'm telling you. I've been saying this the whole time.
Why not just say male?
Because it's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yes,
of course it's not. No, it's not.
It is. Yes, it is.
No, because it's
the only way it's not is if you're talking about a child that so happens to be a male. He is not then considered to be a man. Same thing with a female. Because
I think I see what's going on here, Mike. They're conflating biology with gender.
I'm not using biology. No, I'm not using biology.
I'm saying that's what's going on here. You guys are talking about gender identity.
So this is where I don't know where you stand, Shanita, but I don't think that gender to me and biology, gender and sex are synonymous to me. I don't think there's a difference. So maybe me and you will part ways there.
Well,
so what they're saying.
Yeah. So, because I mean, it depends on what you mean. Like, if you ascribe to gender being identical to biology, that's fine. But typically, when people are talking about gender, they're talking about like their mental construct of their view of the world. Like, can you understand? Like, there's effeminate men and then there's masculine women, right? Correct. And these people ascribe their femininity to, like, to like some sort of mental construct of woman that is like some sort of role to them, right? And that's what they're referring to by gender in that aspect, right?
I totally know what I have with Nathan and such, like I have a general understanding of where he stands because we've talked about this in the past. So like I know where I'm coming from and where he's coming from in the sense of like how we're going about it. I'm just saying, to me, when he says man, based on what we were just saying, like the idea of saying man, boy, infant, and all that, those, like, assuming we're talking about a male, they're all under the umbrella term as male. The reason why I wouldn't call a boy a man is because when we refer contextually to a man, we're referring to somebody that is meeting a certain age requirement, right? And that's just to keep things organized, to understand the difference, right? Adult versus child, you're still talking about a human, right? It's just a subcategory of a human. But what I will say is this: if a man performs like a child, I wouldn't call that fucking man a child, right? And if a child performs like a man, I wouldn't call that child a man.
You gotta define what a man is, bro. It
a
can't just be
male. A biological male. There it is.
Yeah, but you're trying to say it's an adult male, right?
Yeah, thank you. See, you understand.
Okay, so if it's an adult male, when does it become an adult? And it can't just be when they no longer. Who 18, sets that up? 18. Who sets that up?
Society.
So there's a societal construct at its age, and you're appealing to that societal construct.
Is society. Adulthood is the societal construct.
Yeah, so the thing that you call a man is societal. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Because a man.
Not biological.
No, but look, the fundamental point is biological. It's referring to whether this adult thing that we're going to call is, this adult male.
But who decides when it? We're not basing it on biology. We're basing it on society.
There is a little bit of an overlap, because when we're talking about like masculinity or femininity, what we're doing is referring to like specific attributes that are typically associated with a certain type of sex. Which is why, people, when they say like, I'm a cis woman or I'm a trans woman, like what they're doing is that they're talking about like either something that is typical or atypical. That's what they're referring.
I think, look, the idea of what determines somebody to be an adult or not, right, is like highly based off of fucking society, social norms, right? Fine, there's no argument there. What that adult label applies to, right, to me is like not, it's not a fucking hard one. It's just a biological thing. They apply this label to a certain biology, and then they give this thing, they call it a man or a woman in the context of adulthood. right? What you guys are saying in a performative aspect, a man is somebody that, or we'll just say a woman, like I said, when I run the human zoo fucking, like little simulation thing, you think that you could identify, actually you weren't able to identify the difference between a gay man and a trans, I don't know trans.
Oh, I said I could identify.
No, you didn't. I said what? I asked you what the qualities or the properties were for a gay man. You gave.
Oh, you asked me like, what do they do?
And then I asked, what is it? Is it a trans man or a trans woman? Which one is the man acting like a woman? Whatever it is, when the male acts like a woman, whatever that one is, whatever that trans version is, right? When I asked you what those qualities were, the first thing you said, I forgot what it was, but it overlapped. So we said, okay, a gay person was like that. And then you weren't able to give me anything more because I think, this is just my assumption, you realized everything you were going to say at that point was going to be an overlap to a homosexual. So here's the thing. If you guys were at a human zoo and we're going to say, hey, this tranny performance, this tranny thing is a performative thing to where, hey, they act like a man or act like a woman. And I said, okay, let's just say you have a feminine gay man. And you have a group of feminine gay men, and then you have a group of these transgender people where the man acts like a woman, right? Would you, if you have no verbal interaction with them, you're just watching them the way we watch zoo animals, if you're just looking at them, could you guys tell the difference? And if you did, what would be the difference?
One would be a woman and one would be a man.
No, I'm asking you how you determine that process. You're just telling me.
Tell me what a woman is.
Okay, what would be the difference? Give me the properties.
Long hair, wearing female clothes, like bra, panties, like lacy lingerie, that type of stuff.
Okay.
Like those would be all the things with like what's associated
with
that.
Is a cross-dresser a tranny?
No.
Is a drag queen a tranny?
No.
Okay, but those qualities.
A drag queen is someone that's a drag queen is an actor. Someone who's trying to perform.
It's somebody performing like a female, right?
Yeah, like that's a job.
So if you're at the human zoo, how can you tell that it's not a cross-dresser?
I don't know, bro. I think you probably might say it. They probably might look the same. You might assume they're the same.
You have to just talk to them, and then they just tell you that they are, and then they are.
But you understand that there's a difference, right, between them two. One puts on this performance as a job, but they are a man. So besides them being dressed up working, right, you could obviously tell the difference.
Is there such a thing as a gay cross-dresser?
You might. It's almost like saying this. Hey, how can you tell the difference from let's say a Canadian light-skinned actor or a Brazilian person? How would you tell the difference from them two if one is acting American and one is acting Canadian? You're talking about the acting part.
Look, I don't know if I could. Wait, look, I don't know if I could. You said you did know.
Yeah, but the difference is this. If they were in the human zoo, right, I would see them in their natural element. The cross-dresser will be just like your average man in his natural element.
No,
right?
Because they could be cross-dressing.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, that's his natural element. That's a performance they do. That's like an athlete. You're not going to expect Denzel Washington to be the dude from Gladiator in his everyday life.
But so is, look, if we, and I think we've agreed to this, if we agree that, like, gender is a performative thing, right? And a cross-dresser is performing, right? And you see a homosexual cross-dresser, right, interacting with another gay man, right? You couldn't tell anything because you would just see it as two men doing something. One is just wearing woman's clothing, performing like a woman.
Yes, that's with all the information, and that's with without any background information, just me looking at it. Yes,
correct.
Of course. Every normal person would assume that, right? Anyone with reasonable sense would just have those. Yes, that's not the point. The point is this: you're saying in its natural element, in the hypothetical, which is the zoo, right? There would be just in a natural element, like the analogy about like an actor like Will Smith. You don't expect Will Smith in this average life to be the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You expect him to be Will Smith. And the cross-dresser,
because I know.
You expect him to be himself.
Because I've already seen the difference between him and them, but if I've never seen him before, right? And I know what TV is, and I know, generally speaking, it tends to be a fictional character. So I have an understanding of what these things are. But what I'm saying is this.
You know what? I think you could tell the difference. Yes, matter of fact.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. Then.
You know, the cross-dressers are like an exaggerated version of a woman. They have like these long eyelashes. They wear these fake heels.
Yeah.
Everything
RuPaul, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So look,
it's a caricature of a woman, not actually a woman.
Nathan, have you seen movies, Nathan?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I was gonna say that. Haven't you fucking? Hey, look. When you say a character of a woman, you're just saying that they act like a woman, right? Right? All right.
No. What I mean by caricature is an exaggerated version of what a woman is.
Hey, when they call those people, I don't know much about this, and I hope not too many people do, but for the sake of just information right now, maybe somebody might know the answer. When they say lady boys, like in Thailand, are they just saying feminine men, or are they saying that those people actually consider themselves women?
No, they consider themselves men.
They're men with they're men dressing up as women.
But they do not consider themselves to be. They don't consider themselves to be female, right?
I don't think so.
Is that
Okay.
cool?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Oh my God, cool. What's up, man?
Yes, sir.
So my point is this: is that Nathan? There you go. There's an example right there of a non-exaggerative caricature. How did you say it? Caricature? And you couldn't tell, could you?
What, Thailand? The people in Thailand?
Yeah, if they were according to the school, he said that they consider themselves to be men, even though that they're feminine, right? They're not exaggerative, like what you said, like about the RuPaul thing. If those people were at the human zoo, you couldn't tell what they were, could you?
I think they'll be in that natural element as well too.
Yeah, but saying that they'll be in the natural
element. And that natural element is the what's that thing again? Like personalized support.
Say that again.
The natural element will be them dressed as a boy. That's what I believe.
A boy?
Yeah, they only lady boys in the red light district.
Wait, do they dress up like boys or like?
Thing, chicks with dicks. They have tits and dicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So they're men dressing up as females, right?
There you go. They just dress up as that.
I know, but we know. Look, what I'm saying is this: you couldn't tell between that. Okay.
I see what you're saying. saying. Yeah, that one. I don't know, bro.
Exactly, and I'm saying like so. It's a psychological reference, and the craziest part is that they are adjusting their body to be biologically referred. Right? They're
the same thing like the cross-dressers.
No, bro. The cross-dressers change their face to look like a woman.
Yeah, they put on makeup and all that. Yeah, they put on makeup and all that other stuff.
They're changing their physical structure to match what they think a woman looks like.
You know what they're doing? They're not just doing like the natural things of like what you consider what a woman is, right? They're doing the societal things, which is dressing up, the makeup, the lipstick. No, I don't think that's natural. I'm saying it's artificial. That's gender performance right there. That's what they're doing. They're not. Mike, what you're talking about is biology. Wait. You're saying that you're trying to argue that they're doing something biological to themselves.
No, what I'm saying is you just said it's gender performance. So if it's gender performance, what is a trans person doing?
They're performing as their gender.
It's a gender performance. Thank you.
Transition.
Thank you. So there you go. You have
But that's what you're saying.
No,
that's what you're describing.
bro, let me ask you this.
But you're describing that and you're trying to say it's biology.
Look, I'm saying you can't change the biology. Whether
You're arguing that, though.
No, look, that's what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is this. You're saying the performance is enough to call them, to give them a biological reference.
No, Mike, that's what you're saying. You're strawmanning me.
Okay,
I'm not making a
what are you
argument
saying
like that.
What exactly are you saying then? What is a
I'm
trans
saying
person?
that. I'm saying that.
What do you consider to be a trans person to be?
A trans person generally refers to someone who transitioned from gender when they were assigned by birth. Give me a second.
No problem. Take your time, but I know how it is. If somebody else wants to talk, go ahead. I'm gonna use about.
So, I mean, I just wanted to say that, like, you know, how this all works is that there are typical behaviors associated with different sexes, right? And so when people are identifying themselves, you know, through gender, what they're doing is they're contrasting the behaviors that they're doing with typical behaviors associated with each of the sexes. And whichever side that they predominantly, identify with those behaviors, that is the identity that they're going to attach to. But they're not necessarily attaching to the biology in that aspect. But so that I believe and accept. But I also believe that typically a lot of the times when people are talking about male and female, they are also talking about biology in that aspect. So it just depends if when you're talking about male or female, are you talking about biology or are you talking about gender roles? And I think, you know, just be specific in what you're referring to when you're making statements, you know, about this. Oh, did the room die?
Just like that, the room got killed.
I guess. Was it something I said?
Yeah, I think you offended the whole room. Next time you drop the mic, you gotta say bitch before you drop it. All right. So, Shanito, what is the man?
Wait, Nathan, I have a question for you. Sorry, Nick, my bad.
I was trying to fill in the freaking emptiness. Go ahead.
Nathan,
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Nathan, do you find any men attractive? Any man attractive?
Mike, what was the question?
Let's qualify that. Like, make sure you're.
No. I hold on. I know what I'm doing. Do you find any man attractive?
Okay, so hold on. Wait, Psych. You need to qualify what you mean by attractive. Are you talking about like?
He knows what I mean, which is why he answered. It's a sexual thing. How about that?
Okay, that's what I was trying to get to.
Okay, all right.
What you're referring.
There you go. Yes, attractive in the sense. Moving forward, within this little probing segment, it's all referred to physical attraction, potentially interacting with them physically. Okay, so you find no man attractive, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all are so weird with this.
No.
Let us be weird. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it weird? What? You're not normal either. Okay, which woman do you find attractive? that we can all understand? Like Jennifer Lopez, give us a name.
Okay, Jennifer Lopez.
Okay. If today she said she identifies as a man, do you no longer find her attractive?
You cut off when they say it again?
If today Jennifer Lopez said she identifies as a man, do you no longer find her attractive?
No longer.
How the fuck? Why? Tell me why.
Because I'm not attracted to men.
Wait a minute, but what if...
Think about it like this, Mike.
Wait, hold on. What if you didn't know? Wait. What if you didn't know? Right? Let's just say right now it's 10:07 my time. I asked Nathan, you find Jennifer Lopez attractive? You said yes. And at 10:08, the tabloids come out and said, hey, I realized on Sunday that I identify as a man, or I feel like a man, so I identify as a man. Does that mean that you're gay because on Monday you found her attractive?
No. On Monday she was
No. On Sunday she started identifying as a man. So Sunday you have all of Monday, but on Tuesday, right? You realize I asked you the question, and then you later realize that this whole time since Sunday, she's been a man. Does that mean you were attracted to a man since Sunday? You see, because you play this game with gender thing, you're more likely to be gay based on your own rules. I would never be gay. I would never be gay in that sense. You know why? Because even if she says she's a man, she's still a fine ass fucking woman.
No, she's a female, but she's not a man.
She's a
so let's make sure we're on the same page here. Like, if we're talking about a biological response, like I find all kinds of people that I view as women attractive before I'm ever aware of how they identify. Right? And I would argue, even as a straight man, I would say that sometimes, like if we're talking about Filipino people here, sometimes people can be imperceptible as a man. You know, like everything about their external appearance to me screams femininity and sexually like a woman, right? Like, so it's not, you know, it's not about how they identify themselves when I'm talking about my attraction. Although my attraction level can change, the dynamics of my attraction level can change. Like the physical response in my brain will never change, but like my attraction, like having the desire wants to have sex with them can change depending upon like their mental characteristics, right? Like I could see a woman and be like, oh man, she's totally hot, but then when I go up and talk to her, she talks like a complete dummy. Like it just kills all of that desire immediately. And I think that women and men can relate to that, right?
I'll say this right now, bro.
Mike, I got a question for you.
Wait, let me just say this. I'll say this right now. If Jennifer Lopez is like, yeah, I'm a man, and let's just say I'm single and everything like that, right? No kids, no whatever. I'm a man. You want to have sex? I'll be like, fuck yeah. You would say that I'm gay? You would turn it down. You would turn it down. I wouldn't. But I would be the gay one? The fuck? Oh my God. Go ahead, Nathan. What's the question?
Mike, this is for you.
I have a question for Nathan.
Go ahead.
So Nathan, what if the opposite, Nathan? What if it's a guy that becomes a woman and he's like, are you attracted to that person then?
No, that's an easy one.
No.
You see how it doesn't work?
Yeah, why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, why not? Because like, then they're a woman though. Then they're under your spectrum.
Exactly. Come on, consistency. Let's go. All
right, you mean female? It only can be a female.
No, not. Look, Jennifer Lopez is a female, right?
Yeah, but you're saying that she transitioned into a man, right?
But she's still a female.
Then the other is true then. Then the other is true. There's a man, and then they become a female.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they had to be female, right? A female man that went, I should say, retransition.
Brother, if the female part, right? If it's the case that a female that identifies as a man, like Jennifer Lopez, which we both agree is very beautiful, you're saying that at that point that makes you gay. Then that means if a male that identifies as a woman, right? You sleep with that person, you're not gay, right? It has to be. If you want to be consistent, it has to be. Because then you're special pleading. You're saying in this case,
No, Mike, male on male.
You're saying in this case the gender matter, but in the other case the sex matters.
No, Mike. Here's what I'm saying. Male on male is always gay. Male and female, never gay. So females could be men, right?
Okay.
I'm trying to tell you that I'm
Are you talking about biology or are you talking about gender? When you make that statement, are you referring to gender or
biology? Female in Nathan's zip code is biology, and then gender is like, I'm sorry, man is gender. Man, woman is gender, male, female is biology.
Yeah, and Mike, what I'm trying to say is I'm 100% heterosexual, meaning that.
Okay, I got you. But so just to be clear, Jennifer Lopez, the female, would it be a transgender man? Transgender man? Is that how it works? She identifies as a man? Okay, perfect. Okay, Jennifer Lopez is a female that identifies as a man. You're saying that's gay, right? But a man, right, that identifies as a woman is also gay, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so they're both man references, right?
So wait. When I say gay, I mean.
Wait.
The first one on the spectrum. Because it doesn't
matter. On the spectrum is like a dimming light. It's either on or off, bro. You're just saying, it's on, but just not that bright. That's fine. But you're still gay, right? But what makes you gay when you're attracted to... Go ahead.
Right. Being on the spectrum doesn't necessarily make you gay. It just means that you're on the spectrum. You're not.
Are you on the spectrum?
You're on the far end.
Are you on the spectrum?
100%.
Are you on the spectrum?
No.
Are you on the spectrum?
Yeah. Okay. But I'm on the far right.
So you're on the spectrum. Oh, you just haven't met. Oh, I see what you're saying. Everybody's on a spectrum, but they can either be on the positive or negative side, or even the neutral.
Like everyone is in the middle.
Got it. Okay, fine. That doesn't really matter. What I'm saying is this.
People like me, right? Myself.
What I'm saying is this. Let's just say, for example, I'm allergic to oranges, right? If I eat an orange, I'm gonna have an allergic reaction, right? Now, if I give you an apple that I identify as an orange, you're saying you would, in the analogy sense, you're saying you would also get an allergic reaction because that thing identifies itself as an orange. And here's what I mean by that. You're saying that a female that identifies as a man, this is all your words too, right? Gender shit, right? You're saying makes it gay. And we know gay by definition is when you're attracted or you sleep with the same sex, right? Right? But what you're saying is this: if the person is a male that identifies as a woman, you would also be gay if you're attracted to them. So you're saying that in this case, the qualifier for a gay means that gender and sex are the same, which is what I've been saying. They both lead to the same destination. You see, Nathan, take my hand, come with me, bro. Come to my side. You're already there. I promise you.
So I have a question for you. Go ahead, Shanito. I think you're about to say what I'm on.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I'm just curious because I would definitely say that I'm heterosexual as far as like being attracted to the opposite sex. However, like there is a little bit of a caveat there, right? Like it is like I brought up the Filipino example earlier, right? Like if before I even am aware of like what genitalia they have, I'm assessing my attractiveness towards somebody based on their outward appearance, right? Yeah. And so if I'm sexually attracted to somebody that I don't know has a dick and balls, but their outward appearance is completely feminine,
or even their chromosomes.
Does that make me gay? Like I would not say that.
Not to me, because you're basically making some type of inference based off of past experiences. You're saying, look, in almost all my experiences, the thing that looks like this is usually a female, right? And so here's the thing: you're probably going to be right most of the time. Okay, if you use that, you can be wrong, but the only reason why you'd be wrong is because there's something that wasn't available for you to see, some type of information. When you find that information out, it could be the case that it changes everything about how you feel towards that individual based on how you felt because of this new information, right? So that's how things work. I think you're referring to how someone speaks and the way they sound. My point is this: is that these physical things matter more than how somebody just acts. You know what I mean? Shanito, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I was working. I didn't really have anything to respond to that. So yeah, I agree. You and I agree on that.
Let me ask you a question. Would you rather sleep with a female gorilla or sleep with a man, biological male?
No.
Neither. Like if you're asking me which one I'd rather do,
you have to pick one. You have to pick one.
I have to pick one?
Yeah.
What will happen if I don't?
Nothing.
Then you get done by both of them.
Oh, that's a good alternative.
This is not much of a choice, because this is like a trap. You know?
No, it's not a trap.
Are you, psych, are you sure you're not a woman? Because this is a typical question a woman would ask.
No, that's a good question. That's a good question. If you don't choose one, you're going to get raped by both of them. So choose one.
I didn't use the R word, but...
Yeah, fuck it. Make it graphic.
Well, it would have to be the R word because I wouldn't be consenting to doing either one, so it would be R.
That's okay. So which one? You going to take the gorilla?
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to consent. There's
so
no
is it
way.
gorilla or
There's
man?
just no way.
Gorilla
no, there's no way I would consent to either one.
All right, so let's make it good.
The problem is I can't get aroused to do either one of them. Is what I'm saying.
All right, if you could save
so that's the problem.
children, if you could save 1,000 children by sleeping with one of them, which one you want to do?
Neither. I couldn't get around.
I tell you, it's always the amount.
That's what I'm telling you. Like, this doesn't understand like what I'm saying. I couldn't get around.
It was 100% heterosexual.
What if we could? Hey, how about this? What if it's like what if we would make you aroused? Like I'm magical, so like I would make it happen. You don't have. Hey, look. How about this?
Are you saying like you would put like some sort of like
I'm saying that like
over my head instead of like visually?
I'm saying this like basically. No. I'm just saying this. I'm a magical genie. I don't know if that's redundant.
Yeah, you're gonna put a spell on you.
And basically, we can make the scenario functionally like occur.
That's the spell. You're gonna put a spell on you.
Well,
which one would you?
So by definition, if I'm aroused, that means I'm sexually attracted at that point. So if there's a genie,
I would make that happen.
No, but it's like, I know, but it's like what you're asking me is if my sexual orientation would change towards wanting to have sex with a gorilla, would I have sex with a gorilla? Like,
no, what I'm saying is this.
That would just be trivial.
No. Right? I'm saying your concern is I couldn't basically perform this act because there's no arousal, and arousal is a requirement for the performance, right? And I'm saying choose one. Choose one. I'm saying choose one of the shitty options, or else I will make you aroused to both of them.
Okay, I would not choose either one because I can't. Like, how could I choose? No, you don't seem to understand what I'm saying.
Like, you can't just
it's not
hypothetical. Like, you
no, I am entertaining the hypothetical. I am entertaining the hypothetical. What I'm presenting is an option. You're trying to present me what you think is like
because it's his hypothetical. You can't put options.
It is his hypothetical, and I'm addressing his hypothetical. How I want to respond.
You're adding extra options.
I'm not adding any extra.
No, it's not. He's just saying that he couldn't, he's saying that there's no possible world where him person can make that choice. He said he would just freeze. Think about it like this. Hey, you rather do this or this? He's saying that in no possible world he'd be able to do that.
Yeah, but
you can't give him a scenario.
That's not an option.
That's like a deer caught in headlight.
The option was either.
I'm not saying that there's no possible world. What I'm saying is that without the component of attraction, I couldn't perform. And so if you change the component of my attraction, well, then the question becomes trivial at that point.
Yeah, see,
you understand that, right?
No, but then you're adding more shit to the fucking hypothetical. This thing women do all the time. You actually,
what if I add to the hypothetical?
Okay, what about if this happens, right? What if that happens? Or what if I can do this?
What did I add to the hypothetical? What did I add to the hypothetical?
You're adding about which. Oh my god, bro. Go ahead.
Nah, he just gotta listen to you. Break it down to this nigga, cause you gotta dumb it down for him.
Yeah, but there's only two options, bro. You're trying to like add like extra nuance and shit to it, bro.
I keep asking you, what did I add? What did I add?
It's not that you added, bro, but Nathan called it out on the spot.
He asked Eric.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you were adding about
where people trying to encourage you to.
Hey, what's up, Joshua?
Yeah, dude, what's up, Nathan? I love how I haven't been in your room in like over a year. I come back, you trying to. But what if you would be a pedo?
What?
Jesus Christ!
Would be a pedo? Who said that?
No. I'm saying like y'all are trying to like convince Johnito. But what if? What if you could allow yourself?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
No, I'm not calling nobody a freaking kid toucher or nothing. But dude, this is fucking wild combo, dude.
But good to see you, bro.
Yeah, I agree, Joshua. Thank you.
Alright, all I'm saying is this. The way Nathan called it out, he's like a deer caught in headlights. If this situation ever occurred to him where there was an angry gorilla and a sick nigga or sick person in front of him, he would freeze. And you know what would happen? The gorilla would have his way with him. The maniac man would have his way with him. Because he wouldn't be able to entertain hypotheticals. So when he's in that situation, he will have no intuitive motion. So
I'm trying to end to Shawnito's answer of like, hey, I'm not gonna fuck a kid.
We're not talking about kids, bro.
What the fuck are you talking about? We talking about gorillas and crazy people. And him having a choice. You gonna fuck a gorilla or a crazy person. And his ass is saying, I don't know, I would be stuck, I don't know what to do, and they would just have their way with me. That's what he's telling us.
Yeah, so like you guys remember
You don't have to be aroused. Shawnito, they're not wrong, right? Shawnito, they're not wrong. You don't have to be aroused in order to give a gorilla BJ.
Right. We ain't talking about that. I
mean, you're saying fuck a gorilla. If you're gonna fuck a gorilla,
you don't know the animal kingdom. If you lived in a jungle and a gorilla came at you, he's either gonna kill you or
I gotta jack him off before he can come at me.
No, and ain't nothing you can do. You can't beat him.
Have you guys seen that on? I see it on what was this? Netflix, Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
that show is wild.
That's where I'm getting this from. And
no,
you don't know.
It is a show. Okay, a series. Thank you.
He don't know about the animals, and he think like if he
not literally animals. It's about it's not.
You know, the one I was thinking, when Mike presented the hypothetical, there was a certain number of options you could choose, right? And what you were trying to do is adding the extra nuance in the form of, what if I'm not attracted or affection or I wouldn't be able to do it?
No.
Just say,
that wasn't an addition. That's a component of the hypothetical.
Hold on. Just choose the option that Mike gave you that you wouldn't be able to decide and you would get fucked by both. Just choose that. You don't gotta add all the extra nuance.
Eric, there wasn't a nuance there because what I said was a component of the hypothetical because I was asked what would I do, right? And what I do is directly reflected upon my psychological behavior, the way that I think psychologically.
What would you choose?
I can't make a decision without reflecting
whether you can
psychology.
fulfill the function of your choice is second to what you would choose.
Again, I can't make a choice.
You could try both. You could try both.
No, I couldn't. Though that's the point. Without the attraction,
you could always try.
I couldn't do anything.
If I may point out,
figure physically.
Like,
wait, hold on.
I'm trying to bring this up. Like, I'm in the middle of speaking, no offense, but it's like, but you interrupted me. Like, my contention here is like, you guys remember the Saw movies, right? Like, what you guys are talking about is a direct comparison to like what's going on in Saw. And a lot of these people, like, are presented two options which are not like conducive to their well-being, right? And a lot of them just don't make a decision, right? Like, they can't be compelled to go either way.
I just wanted to point out, hey Shanaido, I think you're new to the room, in which case, welcome. Join the house, it's linked up top. But I think the context he may be missing is that in these scenarios, it's like a gun to the head situation. So if you are engaging in the hypothetical, you have to engage by the terms set by the person who proposed it, or simply
right. And he's saying he's taking the gun to the head.
Everything I did, everything I said was in line with what was presented with me. I didn't add anything.
You did add. That's a fact. He didn't add anything. That's a fact.
No, he added if he was aroused or not, or like if he was.
That's the aspect. I was asked what would I do, and what I was asked. Eric, you didn't listen to me.
Eric,
I think what's happened is that this is a multiple choice, and you're trying to do an essay.
Can I fucking speak, bro? Like,
let Eric speak, yo.
The third option Mike presented is the one he could have chose if that was his thing that he couldn't decide because of some weird attraction or something. He could have just said, yeah, I'm going to sit there and not decide, and I'm going to let you choose for me, so I'm going to get fucked by both. He could have just said that, but he didn't. He tried to add extra nuance.
There wasn't any addition. Eric, I was asked what would I do, right? And what I do. Yeah, which is identical to me as what I would do.
No,
right? Yes.
No, I don't think. No, you don't know. Shanito, here's the distinction I think that's being made. Here's the distinction that's being made. This is a multiple choice. You're trying to do an essay question.
That was good. Let me just go.
That is
multiple choice, and I'm trying to do an essay question.
No, Shanito, you good, bro. You packing these boys up.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, Shanito get to add then. Welcome to the team, Shanito.
Yes, that's beautiful. Let me just give him my analysis. See, the thing that triggered me in this conversation is when he correlated this to Saul. I see this more biblical. I see this with Adam and Eve. Come on, Tally, stop muting me. I see this with Adam and Eve. He stood there and did nothing, Adam, in this reference. And this man would do the same thing. He is the state of the unredemptive Christian. I would not be hesitant to believe that this man is an atheist. I cannot see a Christian bone in him. Because no Christian would ever answer that question like that.
So just to be clear, you're choosing the option where you get fucked by both, right? Because you're not choosing.
No, I'm not choosing anything.
Now you see what I mean? He's not choosing the option.
Exactly.
No.
He stood there and did
I don't believe.
Hit the new guy with the gorilla and the sodomy question already, did you?
Yeah, so what
Don't
I'm
hit
saying is
the
that
new guy with the sodomy.
I'm gonna shoot myself in the head.
What's wrong with you, Monica?
Just so that everyone is aware.
You acting like Tally, Monica. The fuck?
So I would just reject that what you're presenting to me are things that I could choose, right? Like, I don't think that choice is, like, I don't think what you're presenting to me is a matter of volition, right? Like, I couldn't volitionally, like, make a decision based on the scenario that you guys are giving us.
When you say volition, in an act of the will,
along with that, it's a hypothetical. He's not choosing, right? Even though he was presented a set of choices and a hypothetical.
He can't make a choice.
He's saying that even though he's not going to choose, and Mike, the third option Mike gave, if you don't choose, you're going to get fucked by both. He said, no, I still don't choose that option.
He's the victim.
No, he didn't say that. He said he would just get smashed by both.
He said no. Well, Sharnito, that's the entitlement. If you don't,
a rejection of accepting the hypothetical, like, is not an acceptance of the consequences. Like, you guys need to understand.
What do you mean you rejected the hypothetical?
Engaging, dude.
Now you see what I mean?
Right. I'm rejecting.
You go on his train, bro.
But but like, here's the thing, dude. Like, I've been in rooms with you before. You're cool, but like on this one, like, they're saying, hey, do you want to have an engagement in this like hypothetical exercise? These are the choices. You're like, nah, but I still want to get credit for having participated in the thing that you asked me about that I'm not answering.
Exactly. No. So I'm drawing a distinction between want and choice here. Like, we're talking about the difference between volition and the act of like picking something.
The exercise is making a choice
of your volition.
Alright,
And so the choice, I reject that there is a choice. That's what I'm saying. It's like what you're presenting to me isn't a matter of choice. It's a matter of volition, and I can't volitionally.
It's not any different than a video game.
volitional.
You just choose which character you want to play. It's not consequential.
Yeah, but again, you just said want, because you're talking about desire, right? Like there is no want, there is no desire.
All right, when you say volition, you're making a reference toward the will. This is not a will question. We don't care about whether you desire.
Yes, it is. You are asking me to willingly take a stance on this hypothetical. That you are.
Ethan, let me know when you want a bridge built.
You are directly trying to get me to impose my will.
So
on this hypothetical.
So Nate, remember earlier?
What is your will?
Remember
I want to go after Eric.
Remember earlier when I said that this guy isn't entertaining or participating in the hypothetical. And you said, no, yes he is. His key word, what he just said a few moments ago, I'm rejecting the hypothetical. Keyword, rejecting. Which means he's not participating within the options that Mike has given. Which means
the reason why I'm rejecting
Sharnito, I told you I'd go after Eric.
He's going with women.
So he's new here. He doesn't understand that all the men have answered this question, either for Gorilla Love or for the requirement for Sav, but Sav. So he doesn't understand that this is a question that every male has answered in the room. If you guys want to share your answers with him, it might make him more comfortable to share his.
That's not what's going on here. I don't really care. How anybody else has answered this question is irrelevant to how I'm answering it. So, no, your assessment of what's going on here is not accurate.
I'll make it easier.
Eric just agreed with me.
Here, I'll make it easier. When you brought up volition, right?
I don't care. Eric agrees with anything you say. No offense.
Look.
No offense taken. You'd have to matter to me for me to be offended.
Well, if I don't matter to you, then why are you responding to me?
Because the room is telling me in the chat it's painful that you're going on and on and on, refusing to entertain the hypothetical. So optimally, a new topic should be recommended, and I'm just the person to do it.
Yeah, you seem very frustrated for somebody who doesn't care about it.
She seems very frustrated. Look, let me just throw this. Once you made a reference toward the will, you gave a testament to how you felt about this question. You showed us you had a very low stance of will. Your will is low, and I will give you the opportunity to tell us what is your will. Can you state your will?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Your will is low. That's just a nonsensical statement.
So you made a reference to your volition. Can you define your volition?
Well, I think volition is a pipe dream.
Oh my gosh, not the free will argument.
This was my entire point from the very beginning. Instead of him saying from the very beginning when Mike asked him the question that I refuse to participate in your hypothetical because I do not wish to answer it because it doesn't make sense to me or I don't want to choose. He decided to engage with Mike.
That's not what I said.
Oh, no, let me finish. You decided to engage with Mike in a hypothetical and even tried to add extra nuance to it, but when I pushed you on it, you finally claim after 30 minutes.
I keep asking you what I added to it.
Let me finish. Let me finish. After 30 minutes, you finally said the word that I was looking for. I reject the hypothetical. That's all you needed to say from the very beginning, and we could have just saved time.
Looks like it's longer than 30
again,
minutes.
I keep asking you to justify your claims about me. me, but instead of justifying your claims about me, you just keep making the same claims over and over again. You keep saying that. You keep saying. Well, no, you repeatedly throughout this conversation, you've made the same exact claim. Like how? And I've responded to it. I don't think that you guys are actually listening to what I'm saying. You're trying to get me to say something. It sounds to me like you're doing the whole Darth Dawkins thing. You're trying to lay the railroad tracks, the foundation, and you're trying to get me to answer the way you guys want me to answer, which is not a really good, conducive way to have a civil conversation.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm saying you don't have to participate. I'm not going to force you to participate, but I'm saying save us some time, right? Don't halfway engage, and then when you're primarily pressed on why you're not engaging fully, you say that you never want to participate. And
there was no halfway engagement. From the very start.
You never.
The very start, I said
in the beginning. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yes, the very start. What I said was a rejection of the hypothetical.
But somebody ping Mike back in. You literally engaged with the hypothetical when Mike first proposed it. Come on.
My engagement of the hypothetical is rejecting it. That was my engagement.
You could have just said you're not answering. That's every people who didn't want to answer the question or they didn't feel like participating when they were asked this question. When they were asked this question, you know what they said? I'm not answering, or I'm not going to engage. There's a couple people in this room who have done that, right? They didn't go on this whole 30-minute philosophical fucking toilet stain argument that you're trying to do.
Again, when I just said that you guys are trying to get me to answer a specific way, you just verified that by saying what you just said.
How? I'm not forcing you to answer. What do you mean?
You did. You told me all you had to do was say this.
No,
you were telling me
you didn't have to participate. That's not forcing you to answer on a hypothetical. I'm not forcing you to do that.
I never said you were forcing me. I said you were directing the conversation to get me to say what you want me to say.
No.
You were coercing me to say what you want me to.
Did I ever force you? No, I didn't. I didn't coerce you. No, I didn't.
When did I say anything about force?
You
keep saying things that I've never said.
You did say force a couple minutes ago. I don't know what you saying you didn't.
No, I'm talking about coercion. You guys are trying to get me to say something.
It's
not force. You guys are trying
not to participate, dude.
Right. What I said.
Here's the point, though.
From the very beginning, I said I wouldn't make a decision, which is.
Shanito, I'm on your
Joshua.
Listen for a second.
I know, but Joshua, you need to listen to what I'm saying.
Breathe for a second.
No, I know. You need to breathe too. From the very beginning, I said that I
I'm pretty confident nobody cares what your answer is now.
I know you're not. I know you haven't been talking, Joshua. What I said from the very beginning was I could not make a decision, which is a rejection of the proposition or the hypothetical at that point. So if you don't accept that as a rejection of the hypothetical,
I just learned that the Army applied for the parade that happened a year ago. A year ago, Biden approved the Saturday parade, the June 14th parade. Isn't that interesting?
It doesn't matter that Trump's a fucking cuck, so whatever.
Whoa.
Anyway,
Can we ask Joshua the question? I'm curious to hear his answer.
I'll participate because I understand it's an exercise.
Joshua's an asshole.
Yeah, the question is, all right, would you rather sleep with a female gorilla, or have a man sleep with you, but you're taking it from the man?
Wait a minute. Now the question's different. We're talking about
it is different. If I may, just a moment. So I don't know at which point in the conversation the third option was added, but I did hear a third option, which was if you don't choose one of those options, both of those, be a man and a female gorilla, are going to have their way with you. I think just that was a little bit unfair to Joshua. I mean, not Joshua,
okay, that's fine. I'm choosing.
Is that my guy Joshua?
On one condition.
Joshua, where you been, my guy? How you been, Joshua?
What's up, dude? On one condition, right? Since I'm blind, I can't see shit. That the gorilla is getting a hair removal treatment, so it feels just like an ugly chick.
You don't get that option.
But I like that stipulation.
Well,
see, that tells so much about your character, right? That says so much about your character. For the people that don't know you, Says so much
I
about
don't
you.
give
How
a
you
shit,
answer
dude. I'm
that
not
question.
even fucking taking this.
It's a good thing, bro. It's a compliment. It's a
I have a
compliment.
question for Joshua. Joshua, you're blind. Do you?
I just want to say really quick, yo, Josh, it's nice. It's nice to have you back. I just want to say it's nice to have you back. Long time no see.
Yeah, about 29 years.
Joshua, when someone reacts to you when you're commenting, do you get a notification?
No, it doesn't. Nah, I just.
Okay,
have,
hey God just gave you props.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Yeah. No, if I go back and look at the chat or whatever, I can review that, but I have to actually.
If you go back and do what?
If I look at the chat, I could open up the room chat, I could read that, but I'm not going to see the gifts you all are putting out or anything like that.
Yo, darling, can you remind me to add Shadito to my list?
Yes, gotcha.
That doesn't count. He did it to himself. That doesn't.
No, he did it too.
No, y'all were being a little unfair, and I think that one, I did point out you only, if you engage in the hypothetical, you have to do so on the terms of the hypothetical set by the creator of the situation. And then out of nowhere, there's this third, well, since you didn't want to engage, here's this option to get, Eiffel Towered by the things. It's weird.
That's not what happened. What happened was, I heard the whole thing. So what actually happened was, he said, what if I don't want to choose either? And then Mike said, you have to choose one or the other. And then he said, well, what happens if I don't choose either one? And then Mike said, well, then then you have to have sex with both of them. Both of them are going to have the way with you. And then he said, what do you mean by have the way with me? And then Loki said, the R word will happen. Strike
that from the record. Strike that from the
In other words, knowledge, he added extra nuance to the hypothetical, correct?
But here's the other thing that, because I've been in rooms for Shanito, he's cool a lot of times, but my point with the thing is that
correct.
You don't get credit for participating in an exercise if you refuse to participate, and that was the thing that was bugging me, right? I'm engaging, but dude, you're not, because the exercise is choosing. And you don't get credit for doing something if you didn't do the shit.
Well, that's cool.
I reject the notion that there's choice, though. That's what I was exclusively stating, right? And I didn't add anything. If I'm asking questions, I'm trying to get clarification on the hypothetical. If I'm not the one adding anything, if I ask the question, what will happen if I don't? And if they say, well, then the R word will happen. They are the ones that are adding to the hypothetical, not me.
You're asking women questions.
No. Okay, so I'll go after chaos.
So I think a better way of making this hypothetical would be to say, hey, you get a choice. If you don't choose, it's going to be hey, you can choose between two options, but if you don't choose the first option, the default would be the second. So in that way, they can't escape the whether choose A or B happens to you. So the choice is to you to for inaction versus your choice, which is the action.
Okay, I wanted
so in that case, what I'm trying to point.
Okay.
Another 30 minutes of him saying he's not engaged.
I would still side with Shanito, because if it happened the way that Knowledge said, the creator of the hypothetical, rather than inform Shanito that he either has the two options or does not participate in the dialogue, instead chose to add the nuance, he was engaging with the additional nuance.
No, because he's asking questions that do not apply.
He's got a point.
There was two premises. If you do A, B is going to happen. If you do B, A might not happen. Right? That's all it was. He wanted to ask questions that didn't need to be asked to find a way to make to find a third option that wasn't there. So
the third option is to not engage with the hypothetical. That is a third option.
But you engage by asking questions.
No,
that's engaging.
Right. Yes, I'm engaging by asking the questions, but I can add.
Sorry, that's another.
Yes, the engagement is to not engage with the hypothetical. That is the.
Yeah, I don't think Shanito gets invited to too many dinner parties.
Do you hear what you're fucking saying? I'm not engaging, but I'm engaging. Okay.
Yes, I'm engaging with the hypothetical by rejecting the hypothetical.
You weren't engaging.
Yes, no. What I'm saying is, I'm engaging with how many times do I have to repeat myself? I'm engaging with the hypothetical by rejecting the hypothetical.
It doesn't matter.
That is the engagement that
you're still wrong. Doesn't matter.
How am I wrong? How can I be wrong about rejecting something? That doesn't even make sense.
No, your logic is flawed.
I ran the Boston Marathon, even though I've never been to Massachusetts.
Because you're saying you never wanted to engage, or you're not engaging with the hypothetical, but then you're saying you're engaging by not engaging. How does the fuck does that make sense?
No. Okay, so when I said I'm not engaging by engaging, I misspoke, and I reiterated what I meant, what I intended to say.
I said I went to Boston to run the marathon that I didn't.
Can I finish what I'm saying? I'm saying that I'm engaging with the hypothetical by rejecting the hypothetical. That's what I intended to say.
Yeah.
So I am engaging with the hypothetical. You saying that I'm not engaging with the hypothetical is a misrepresentation of what
that's what you said, though. I'm not misrepresenting it. I'm just repeating what you're saying. It's not my fault. You're the first one that said it. You're not repeating what I said. You were the one that said it at first. If that's your claim that you're saying you didn't clearly state what you meant, that's not my fault. I'm just
No, it is your fault because you were the first one that said it. You were the first one that said it, not me.
No, you said you're not engaging. That's what you just said. And then,
I said that after you said it.
On the other hand,
you were the one that said that I'm not engaging.
You're making the claim that by you not engaging, you're not engaging.
You were the first person that said that I was not engaging, not me. That was you.
Oh my God, bro.
You can continue to lie all you want.
I know. So it seems that the conversation is being mistaken for the hypothetical. I would say, like, if someone laid out in front of you a nice brunch, it's like brunch time and I'm hungry. If you're, just walking around the table, sniffing around, you're not engaging with it until you take a bite. And you were walking around, sniffing around, Shanito. I don't think you actually engaged by saying, I just need a few more details before I decide if I want to.
That's just a misrepresentation of what happened. If he's asking questions about what will happen if I don't do this in the hypothetical, that is directly engaging in the hypothetical. Like, there's no other fucking...
I was engaging with the hypothetical by rejecting it.
I know you just heard that, bro. Like, he's engaging in the hypothetical by rejecting it. That's engaging in the fucking hypothetical.
He's getting more information about what the hypothetical is.
Is this man on crack?
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, just retarded, bro. Like, where do you find these idiots, bro? It's crazy.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna keep it one stack. I think Shanito just, I think he got a dub on that one.
Nah, you're just mad you're on the list, bro. It's alright. We'll hold your funeral in a couple days.
Knowledge, how did you answer?
Wait, so he said he doesn't want to engage in the hypothetical.
I said I was.
What's your answer?
Yeah. I said I was a straight male, so I can never choose a guy.
Yeah, well, you'd fuck the gorilla too. Like,
yes.
I'd fuck the chick.
You know what? Since Knowledge wanted to say that, I took we're gonna put this into the orbiter of Chillism. I mean, the orbiter of Chillism. ChatGPT, right? So I'll be right back.
Are you gonna from this speak and they say orbiter?
And you also know that.
You know what? That's another.
You know you have to agree props.
Or is that engaging?
Yes, and so I need to clarify here.
Wait a minute, are we putting money on this? Is there money? Is there a bet on this?
So I do want to clarify, right? So if anybody presents me a hypothetical and they tell me the only two options that I have is I have to choose one or the other, and I can't recant from the options, like I can't choose not to choose one of them, and neither of the options are options that I would gravitate towards. Like, it's not something I would desire to do. At that point, I'm just not going to engage with the hypothetical. I'm going to reject the hypothetical at that point.
Well, that took about 10 seconds. Why are we still here 40 minutes later?
He was engaging in the conversation, not the
No,
hypothetical.
he asked correct questions directly related to the fucking hypothetical. Once it was asked to him, that is directly engaging in it. If somebody asks you about a
you
hypothetical,
wanted to be
I was asking. They were clarifying questions, and when the clarifying questions were answered, and I realized that there was no way for me to answer the question, I disengaged from the hypothetical. That was the moment. That was the moment I disengaged from the hypothetical.
Yeah, okay, I want you to hear his words that he's using. He disengaged. That means you had to be engaged in the first place to fucking.
That's what I said. I said I engaged with the hypothetical by yes. I from the very beginning I said that I engaged with the hypothetical. Are you deaf? Are you deaf? How many people in this room heard me say that I engaged with the hypothetical? How many people? I would argue a lot of people would say that they heard me.
All right, raise your hand if you heard him say that.
We're not allowed to do a motion.
You know we can't do that anymore.
You don't have to do that shit. Just run your rooms the way you usually do, dude. Don't fucking do that.
Yeah, they know for a fact that this guy, this whole argument, this whole time was that he didn't engage, bro. That he didn't fucking engage.
No, Eric, I'm sorry. You gotta take that out.
We got it, bro. The vote's on my side.
All right, now get to the prompt. Go ahead. What's
I don't think I need a problem now. He just openly admitted it. I don't know.
That makes me think ChatGPT wasn't on your side.
I didn't even.
Did you guys hear the breaking news?
A confession
tell me.
under duress is not admissible in court.
I didn't type anything in.
Did you guys hear the breaking news?
Tell me, Hiccup.
Joey Chestnut is going to participate in the hot dog eating contest this year on Coney Island. He's back, baby. He's fucking back.
You said who?
You guys don't know
Joey
who
Chestnut,
Joey Chestnut is?
Because he got a brand deal for a while now. They unbanned him or whatever.
That's the Glizzy. He's the GOAT.
He's the glizzy gobbling gladiator?
Yeah, I couldn't say it. I'm stuttering today. I've had it. Yeah, 100%.
Hello, fellow black supremacists and others.
This room was already shitty. It just got worse.
Damn.
I mean, he is a white supremacist, so it's a pretty shitty day now that I'm here.
Yeah, I'm definitely a white supremacist. You're right.
I mean, you guys got two people I got blocked for white supremacy all three. You talking about Joey Chestnut, the glizzy eater?
Yes.
You have people blocked in white belts and chillism? That's so...
Hot pal.
I don't hang out with white supremacists. I block them automatically.
Who's up?
He got banned.
Hold on. Let me try to guess. Hold on. Are they on stage right now? Loose?
It says they are.
Okay. Let me guess. Two white supremacists. Is one of them Monica?
Hot power.
What is Monica?
I wish you would record that for me, Louie, and then I would play it every time I'm accused.
What'd you say, Loose? It was or it wasn't?
I don't know who Monica is, so it's not one of them.
Damn. There's only one white person.
Hold on, real quick. Monica, are you a white supremacist?
No.
Yes.
Hot power.
Who spoke for me? Who spoke for me?
I did.
Damn, I'm lost.
Do you want me to unadd you, sir?
Wait, is it a black white supremacist? Or is it a white supremacist?
I don't care what your race is. I judge you based on how you speak and you're talking to me.
Hot power.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes a big difference.
I think it's knowledge. I think knowledge is a white supremacist, and I can't say who else I think.
No, he said they're on stage. Their position. So my guess was here. Yeah, the ideology. So my guess was Eric and Louis, but I was wrong. Do you want to take a guess, Tolly?
Why did you guess me?
Because you were the one saying white power. I don't know. Made sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have a hot one actually.
Yeah, make a guess.
One. Just one. And then
Anyway,
the second one.
it's real easy to detect a white supremacist. It takes like 3-4 questions at most.
I want to hear Tolly's guess.
You hit him with a hard one. Do black people deserve their tens to hundreds of trillions of dollars in reparation from the white race? And you will see them immediately flip over tables and start spazzing out and crashing out. They never want to answer that one directly.
I wouldn't give them as a red.
That's crazy.
All right, so Tolly, what do you guess?
Tally, you were wrong.
You want to talk about apartheid and resistance and the cost of truth?
You gotta add you to the list.
Yeah, the cost of truth is called reparations. You have to pay the stolen generational wealth back to the people it belongs to, and stop talking about how do we get peaceful racial relations.
Okay.
You pay up.
Quick questions. Well, one. Okay, Eric was right. All right, round of applause for Eric. 2 questions for Luce though. Is it like a 2 out of 3, or is a yes answer to one of the questions enough to qualify the person as a racist or a white supremacist?
Usually a wrong answer to any of these questions is a dead giveaway. So that's just an easy one.
They were what?
What is the third question? What is the third question? What is the
It's so easy, Tolly. That's why you declared this white supremacist.
Technology's question. Guess was a good one.
Tolly is one of the white supremacists I have blocked. She didn't know that.
Oh my God!
Actually, I did know. I did know.
I did remember her posting.
See how consistent the litmus test questions are. You can find them immediately.
Can you just clarify what you mean by white supremacist? Because your question to me doesn't seem in line with what I would identify as a white.
What? No, I don't know where you came in on
Actually,
this.
denying the relevancy of the questions as leading and defining white supremacists ironically makes you a white supremacist.
Can we please
Really quickly,
I just need you to define what you mean by white supremacy.
Oh, there's multiple mics open. I don't know what's happening, but I do want everyone to just quickly PTR. I hate to do it to you, Luce, but you don't block me unless you have multiple accounts.